What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Alex G alongside Mal. This is the A Couple of Things podcast where we are here to talk about a couple of things. Let's do it. So we just finished the 2024 Summer Games for the Olympics that took place in Paris. So just wanted to do a quick rundown on some of the takeaways of the games. Of course, 2028 LA will be hosting it, which we will be in attendance. So that should be fun, exciting time.
Yeah.
But just to give a little bit of feedback on the experience of Paris, at least from a viewer standpoint, give some reviews of some of the games and winners, losers, and so forth. Where should we start? Start in the home country,
What?
U.S.
What do you mean starting a home country?
With our breakdown, our response, our reviews.
Like review us first?
It's fine. No,
No, I'm just confused. I don't know what you mean.
with the U.S., like our takeaways from the U.S.'s performances, just in general in the Olympics. Yeah.
Who else would we be talking about?
Yeah.
The ops. I'm just kidding. Where do you want to start? Swimming. But like it's stuff that we really watch, right?
I mean, I tried to watch everything. That's the thing. I mean,
Yeah, but
luckily
everyone was on
they made
TV.
it easier this year more than ever to watch the different games. Yeah, swimming, Ledecky is just doing what she does. You know, it's kind of wild to watch
Yeah.
what she's been able to do, and especially if you're watching her races and how she just progressively gets better. It's
Yeah.
insane. And our relay team for swimming was insane, breaking records. Um, Overall, the whole Olympics, there was a lot of records being broken.
Yeah.
Like a lot of Olympic records, a lot of world records being broken. So that was great. Competition's only going to get better and better as the years go on. So that was good. It was really entertaining. But yeah, I'm happy with our swimming team. We did, of course, have a lot of competition with the Australians.
Yeah.
So
But our Phelps were kind of, I mean, we still came out strong. Most golds, most medals. So, but it's like, dang, like you can kind of feel the Phelps impact
yeah,
because most of our medals in swimming were silver. So the Phelps impact is felt.
yeah, it's crazy. But
No pun
yeah,
intended.
Ledecky carried us, and our relay team carried us a lot there. Running, always the most entertaining in my opinion. A lot of takeaways from the runs. I mean, let's start with men. Actually, let's start with women.
Let's
Ladies
start
first.
in order of events.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I think the 100 meter was one of the first main events.
Yeah, 100-meter final was crazy.
Yeah, unfortunately, Sha'Carri couldn't do it. I think it had to do with like the warm up. There was just a lot of weird like I don't think people understand like people who don't competitively compete or never competitively competed before in their life don't understand how certain things could like throw you off your like grind or whatever like like the flow state. I mean, there's like certain terms you talk about like there's certain things that could just throw you off, and something like that like just not having your pre-race routine, like things not going as planned, like just a last minute thing that fries do like that, could definitely throw you off. Like we see Sharika, I think it was Sharika or Shelly, I think it was Shelly.
Yeah,
Shelly
surely.
Ann.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even know she was injured, and like all of a sudden like she just dropped out. Like I think it had to do with that too. Like I think she was just over it. Like I think a lot of people were just over it, and I think she carried pushed through, but I definitely feel like that had like, an impact. Like she looked out of it. I never seen her look like that
Yeah,
before
when
a
she was
race.
lining up, yeah.
Yeah,
It was very stiff and looked nervous.
yeah. So it's unfortunate. She still went great. She still got silver, but it's like the anticipation of her getting gold. I think like she could have easily got it. Like that Julian Alfred girl is really good too.
She's great, yeah.
So I'm not downplaying the accomplishment. Like not saying that she like it was just like a walk in the park for Sha'Carri. I just think that she wasn't performing at her optimal performance level.
Yeah,
Clearly.
they had her projected at getting bronze, but then she ended up getting the gold.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But yeah, I feel like what you mentioned about people that have never competitively done anything athletic on a high level or really any level at all, for the most part, it's going to be people that didn't compete on any level. That's like one of the things that always is like I kind of hate about sports because us competing against each other is great and I love it and I love competition and I love people working hard and striving for their dreams, accomplishing their goals, doing the things that they talk about. I love that part about competition, regardless of whether it's somebody in a different country, somebody that's on part of a different team from what I support. I always love it. I think the one thing that I hate all the time about sports is the fans. Like the fans make sports
fans
worse.
make everything lame.
Like if you never competed for anything in your life, like you shouldn't feel like you have the liberty to speak on certain aspects of athletics.
Yeah.
Like if you don't if you're not an avid gymnastics like watcher or supporter, then for the most part you shouldn't really comment about the sport itself if you don't
You don't
understand
even
the
understand it.
intricacies, the nuances of it all. Like I haven't competed in 99% of the events ever that are in the Olympics, but at least have an understanding of how it all works.
Yeah.
So my understanding of things is different. Like, so for certain stuff, I won't necessarily comment on it, but like, I don't know. I feel like fans make it so bad when they comment and like, or antagonize somebody, or like, oh, that wasn't even that difficult, and like that kind of stuff. I kind of hate because it's like you're not even a good
You're not there.
representation. Like
Yeah.
you don't even know what you're saying.
Yeah.
That part I always hate about the Olympics in general, but also just general sports.
Yeah.
But
Like people are too critical over people who are doing things that they'll never do in their lives, and like there's people who not even doing the bare minimum, like not competing anywhere in life. Like,
yeah, can't even
so
compete in their own jobs
yeah,
as cashiers.
but they want to talk about people who are literally doing what literally nobody in the world will do. Like it's just such a small, minuscule percentage of people
Right.
that have this opportunity.
The Olympians are a step above what we would consider to be professionals. Right. Like
Yeah.
not everybody in the NBA makes it to be an Olympian. Right.
Like you
That's
see who's playing.
you see.
These are all the
Yeah.
superstars. These are all like you look on that court and you know every single player.
Yeah.
Cause they clearly made a name for
And they're
themselves.
superstars. Like
Literally, yeah.
so, it's not just people that are professionals. These are the people that are the most elite that exist in the world.
Yeah.
So when people comment on certain things, even like people commenting on somebody's skill, it's crazy
It's
to
a
me
little
because
delusional.
it's like, yeah, maybe you can judge it based off of their competition, and I kind of get it, but I think people drag it too much.
Yeah.
Where they're like, this person's trash, this person's this, and it's like, oh man, it kills me because it's like the worst player or the worst like athlete on the team is still infinitely light years above
Yeah.
everybody else. So it's just like we can be fans of sports, but let's keep it in context. And I feel like a lot of people don't keep it in context. And that's why, like you were saying to me before, like how Kevin Durant was like dragging everybody on Twitter about
Yeah.
like them versus Serbia and like calling out Nuggets fans and their support and feeling like the NBA players from the U.S. hate Jokic and that kind of thing. It's like people don't keep sports and athletics in context and they take it too far. Like I'm all about being fans of people, but never will you ever and never have I ever called somebody out of their name, like
Yeah.
disrespecting
Like people be
people.
calling people out of their names
It's crazy
for sports.
for sports.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, on a more positive note,
Yeah.
but yeah, our what were we talking about? We were talking about running. So yeah, congrats to Sha'Carri for getting her first medal as an Olympian through the 100 race.
Yeah.
Wasn't ideal, of course, but shit happens. At least she still ran.
Yeah.
Um,
Then there was a distance, like mid distance. I read was in like the 800. No, I don't think any of us placed an 800 woman, right?
yeah, I don't think so. I
Not
don't
having
remember.
a thing is definitely is being felt a little bit, right? Because I think her
Yeah,
time from Tokyo that won it all was faster than the girl that came first. So she potentially would have got us another medal.
that was
So it's
unfortunate.
so unfortunate that she fell during the trials. Um, then what happened after that? I feel like track flew, right? It was all within a week. It was the 1500
Yeah,
men's. Or was
was
it the
it?
male
I'm not
men's?
gonna
I
be
think it was
able
the men's
to.
100.
I'm
I
not
think
gonna remember the order to be honest with you.
men's 100. I kind of remember some. It was the men 100.
Yeah, craziest finish I've ever
Yeah,
seen.
that was very close. Like I was scared, but I kind of had a feeling it was Noah because I was watching it like very close, and I had a feeling like that lean you could just see in real time. Like a lot of people didn't really catch it, but I caught. I was on the phone with my mom. You weren't here, but I like knew it. I was like, no, that lean. He leaned in, like he got it. He got it. You know, that lean is so important.
Yeah, it was way too close for comfort. The closest
Yeah,
finish in a 100 race ever,
for
or
men's too.
I think honestly in any race ever.
Yeah, it was pretty like really really
It was
close.
one 500th of a second or something like that, like some insane stat. But yeah, that race, shout out to him. I wish he would have got the 200 too.
I know, just to shut everybody up. I mean, it's definitely a double edged sword though, because I feel like Noah Lyles, like he does do a lot with the arrogance thing. Like there's a way to do it, and he's borderline like way too much with it. But I also do support people who could back up their shit talking, you know. But that's the thing. Like that's what like this person on TikTok they said it perfectly. It was just the same exact way I felt. Like he was like saying like he was liking Noah. Like he saw, okay, he got the 100. Like, okay, he's backing up what he's saying. He's backing up what he's saying. He said the thing that made him like what he's like, not really messing with, and what I felt too was how he took the 200-meter loss. Like I feel like it was over dramatized. Like I'm not trying to down the man because I know he does have asthma, right? And like he allegedly had COVID. But I just feel like a lot of people all agree that it was a little bit dramatized. Like I feel like he just didn't take the L. Like he needed a story. He needed to show like, oh my god, I'm dying. This is why I lost. Like I said, just be like, damn, yeah, you know what? I lost. Like it was like you kind of took the moment away from the guy who won by just having this whole like I'm dying. You know,
Yeah.
it was definitely dramatized, and that for me was like, okay, like you already do a lot, you already talk a lot, like, you're already kind of annoying, but you still proved yourself. But then the moment you lose, and but now you got now you gotta take the L after all that shit talking. Just take the L. Like don't try to move the goalpost. Now all of a sudden I had asthma and I was dying.
Yeah, I
Like
think
it's just dramatic.
there's a way to do it because lose graciously just
Yeah,
as gracious as you win.
yeah,
So yeah, because like that's one of the things about when you have professional, like real professionals, like people that like I don't know how to describe it, but there's an elite type of athlete in the way that they deal with adversity and animosity towards things. I think we see a great change in Sha'Carri and how she handles it.
yeah. I think she was really young when she first came out.
Yeah, and it's understandable when you're young, you don't have that type of context. Like if I was younger, then I was doing these things on
Yeah,
this level, I probably
I
would be
can't
worse.
imagine 16 to 19-year-old me on like a world stage like this. Like what?
Yeah. So, but when you look to these athletes like LeBron or Steph Curry, like they've endured losses in like and the finals, and the way that they carry themselves, you'll never see a clip of them complaining or we lost because of this or lost because of that. Like 2015 when LeBron and Curry first played against each other in the finals, LeBron lost Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love in the finals. Like you lost your two of your starters and you're one of them. So that's out of five people that are going to be your starters, you lost two of them. Never was there a complaint or an excuse. This is why this happened, or this is why we didn't beat them, or whatever. It's just you graciously just take the loss just as much as you graciously take the win. You just keep it pushing. So if you're gonna talk shit when you win, talk shit when you lose. I guess like at least be
Yeah,
consistent
or just
and
take the L. Yeah,
yeah. But like
don't
the
sway.
pity party is, I
Yeah,
don't like that.
I don't like that either. That's what for
Even
me it was like.
because the thing is, even if that was the case, because that has happened, right? Like people like Kevin Durant blew his Achilles out when the Warriors were playing against the Raptors and the Raptors beat them in the finals. There was no pity party. There was nobody crying. I mean, we watched KD's Achilles explode live on TV. Uh, there was no tweets from KD like, "Oh man, if I didn't get injured or that," like
Yeah,
you just win and lose graciously, and yeah, I would want that more from my athletes because I like consistent, right? Like don't
yeah,
even if it is true, that's the thing. Like it could be true that he couldn't perform well because of COVID or whatever he was going through or his asthma. But when he wins, they use the asthma as a look what he's able to accomplish.
yeah.
But
He
then when
really
he
used
loses,
yeah.
then it's like, oh well, it's the asthma. So it's
I
like
can
kind of
always
like
put it on like my life that if he would have won that race, none of that would have been happening.
yeah,
There would have been no wheelchair. There would have been no ripped shirt. There would have been give my water, give my water. And I know people work on adrenaline, so if he was winning, people could argue, oh, because he's adrenaline, he's hype, he's pumped. But I don't know. No,
yeah, I
there was
don't know.
definitely some drama there. It's okay to admit it, like 'cause it was drama.
Yeah,
It was
and
dramatized.
he's still amazing at what he does, and he's still like top five fastest people in the world.
Yeah,
All of
but just
that
take
is
the
still
L.
true. But
Yeah,
yeah,
like you're not gonna always win. Some of the best people have lost before,
yeah.
like plenty of times. So.
But yeah, anyway, our 4x100 relay for men's.
Well, first the 1500-meter men's.
I'm not gonna remember the order, so you just got to
Yeah,
give
but
me
the 4x1s were last. That
No,
was
no.
easy to remember. In the middle was the 1500-meter. That was really the only other main thing. And then the hurdles. But 1500-meter men's, that was like a big shock. Because nobody was expecting the U.S. to do what they've done in distance. Like at all. Like, we're not like that was never really our strong suit. Like every single Olympics and just in general, like world championships, like distance is not really our thing. Which I wonder why. I don't think we just ever really, I don't know. I actually don't know why. I mean, we know who dominates distance, and we have a pretty decent population of them in the United States, but I don't think it's like a high amount for them to really be competing for us. But you see Nagus, he is Ethiopian, right, and he got bronze. But that race was crazy. Like people were saying, like one of the two best comebacks from the Olympics was him and like the 400-meter guy. But what's his name? Somebody with a C, right? Cole something. Is that his name? Cole, the guy who got first. Well, I can't remember his name. But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, I should know his name. I think it starts with a C though. I'm pretty sure, or his last name starts with a C. But that race was crazy. Like I did not expect he was gonna win that.
Yeah,
And
that
it's
was
crazy because I was
crazy.
watching I watched all, like most of this stuff live. So like I watched it all in real time. And I just like it was literally between the two people who were in the first like one or two. Like that was all the conversation about the whole time. Like their rivalry. Like no one was even considering the U.S. And then here they come and they got
Yeah.
first and third. Like that was a crazy race to watch. Crazy race.
Yeah, that race was insane. Comeback was crazy. I
Mm-hmm.
remember watching him in trials.
Yeah, I do too. I remember a lot of these people now. Like, especially as a former track athlete myself, like I need to be watching this stuff all year round, like not just the Olympics. Like I definitely want to get more invested and more involved with watching them and supporting them all year round. Like when they're actually putting in the work. Like we're just seeing the Olympics is like the pinnacle. Like the interim is like the real work. So definitely want to get more invested watching like the World Championships, like all the meets in Eugene, Oregon, and stuff like that. So, but then the 400 meter, that was not a good comeback. The 400 men, Quincy Hall, right? That's his name. That was crazy. Did we watch that together? Like, were we both home watching that, or was I watching that at work? I watched a lot of the stuff at work, but I watched a lot of it at home too. But that was another crazy one. Watching it in real time, I was like, nah, he's not gonna come back and get this. Like, and then he came back. Like that was crazy. That one might have been better than the white guy in 1500, right? That's a really good one. Then we had the hurdles. Of course, Sydney. That wasn't a shock at all. I think they tried to have us scared with this Femke girl from the Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
No, like it's Sydney. There's no competition there. So yeah, it's crazy to see how far she came, coming from like she came from our state. She's Jersey girl, Jersey track and field. Like if anybody knows, if anybody's from Jersey listening to this, like our track and field literally is, like I don't know compared to the whole state, but it's one of those like it was very competitive. Like I would consider myself decent, and I didn't even make a blimp like a blip on the anywhere in the states or nothing like that because it was so hard. Especially in my group, they literally we were in group 4 in New Jersey. I'm not sure if Sydney was a part of that group because she was like in a different region. But with group 4, they literally called it the group of death. Like it's so hard. It was so hard. Like there was people. It was just like really great people. And there's somebody, her name's Olivia Baker. We thought she was gonna be an Olympian. My mom actually just sent me something. She was in some like commercial or something. So I don't think she's gonna be an Olympian, but I have a picture of her. I thought she was gonna be the Olympian. Mm-hmm. But then my sister had the picture of Sydney. Obviously, you've seen the picture. And we was kind of scouting. We knew who was gonna be big from Jersey. I unfortunately though wasn't there when Amira took the picture with Sydney because I think I was in college already. So, but like, yeah, Jersey track is just crazy. Very like a lot of talent comes out of this area, and she was one of them, and it's cool, just to have that connection, just to have like that she got to meet my sister, and like I've seen her run, so it's just crazy. Yeah, and she obviously dominated in that 400. I think she really wants that sub 50. She's close. She was at like 50:37, I think. So yeah, I hope she gets it because we need her in that 400
She'll
flat.
get it. Yeah. She got the work ethic for it. It's
probably gonna happen literally next year.
Yeah,
like for sure. And then the men's 400 Rai Benjamin, he won. So that wasn't a really. I mean, that was close. Him and
it was
the
close,
other guy,
but
it still wasn't really too much of a shock. Like he's literally dominates in that. He's been dominating in that. So yeah, I think they swept in hurdles. 100 hurdles. I forgot. Oh my god, who's the guy? Was it Coleman? No. Mm-hmm. Somebody with it. Grant Holloway. I think it's him. Yeah. So yeah, he won for the men's, and then Masai Russell, that's her name, right? She won for the women, and that was a close race too. That was another focus finish. Like watching all these in real time was literally Liddy was about to have like a heart attack watching all these races live, but they swept on hurdles. Like that's cool. Like this was a really good like track year. Like it sucks like some of the other stuff couldn't live up to expectations. Like we'll get into it in a second, but like Shikari with the gold for the 100 and the 200 we just talked about with Noah. Like he got bronze. Didn't a U.S. man get silver? Or no?
We got a silver and a
bronze. Noah got bronze, but did American get silver? I know gold was Tobago from Botswana, but who got silver?
Was it
Why did I think it was one of us?
Was it Curly? Does he run 200?
I'm not sure, but I think it was one
He
of
probably
us.
does.
Yeah, I gotta look it
I
up.
mean, he runs our relays.
You
Yeah.
think Siri would answer?
No,
But
it's fine for purpose down.
no, I'm just looking, but we could keep talking. But yeah, like I think overall track was definitely like dominant. It's just unfortunate, like a few things that were expected didn't happen. But obviously the relays almost swept. Also, 4x1 women's, they went first. That was kind of close because Shikari had to run them down at the end, but that was like fire that she was able to get that done.
Yeah.
Especially for her to be the finishing leg, and not have gotten her gold to get not to have gotten her gold in the individual to get it in that moment was nice for her to finish that off.
Mm-hmm.
Shocked to see Gabby Thomas on it. Not really, because I know she was on the team before, but it's always so interesting when they have like people who are dominating like more longer sprints in the 100, the 4x1. But I mean, she probably was the best for it. Obviously, they don't have these decisions for no reason.
Yeah, the coaches would know better than me, but
yeah.
I mean, she was able to
Oh,
do
it was Kenny
Kenny got it.
Bernard. I knew it was one of us. So yeah, but that was good. And then the men's 4x1 disqualified. And like, I think this was the fourth DQ in a row for the Olympics. Like Carl Lewis was mad as he was like, we need to dismantle the whole system, blow it up, and start fresh. Because like, how is it that this is like, isn't like, I know it's probably in their heads partially, but this is definitely a deeper issue here. There's definitely something on a bigger scale that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, they don't have the technical skill to do it. I think,
Yeah.
of course they're amazing at what they do individually in the 100s. Like they're still the fact. Like they still almost walked him down to some extent in the end. So they're just the fastest at what they do, but the technical skill with the relay itself is really lacking. It's not good.
And that was like a highly anticipated. We were like, okay, we know they have this curse, but this is a good team. Like they could get this goal. Like we was amped up, and then on the freaking second leg, when I saw him run into him, I was just like, there's no way. Like I really felt like it was one of those moments where you feel like you're just like in a simulation. Like it just felt fake. That moment felt fake. I was like,
weird.
There's no way.
It almost felt like it was on purpose in a way.
Yeah, right. Like I was like,
yeah, they don't have that technical skill. Sorry, but to sneeze.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of wild to watch live.
Mm-hmm. Very disappointing for a Friday.
Yeah, because I feel like it would have been easy gold.
Yeah, it should have been. I mean, that guy from Canada,
but still,
Degrassi, whatever his name is.
Yeah, they started talking crazy too.
Yeah,
the 4x100 team.
He is so annoying.
He wasn't talking crazy, but one of the legs was talking crazy.
Talking crazy in an unfair race with a team that's disqualified as well. Like
he was talking about Noah.
Noah was even in it.
Yeah, he was like, "Good luck with your COVID."
That's his name. But I mean, I guess Noah deserves it, right? He was talking
that's
first,
the thing. Like if you dish it, then you should be able to take it.
Very unfortunate though, and we can't even see them do it for another 4 years. Hopefully they'll mess up in LA. Like I need people who let us know the history. Look up the stats. Like they got disqualified like 4 years in a row. Like it's really insane. Like they keep messing up. It's very frustrating. But the women came through for us. And also on the 4x4, both men and women came.
Even that thing almost won.
Who?
With Gabby handoff.
In the 4x4? The 4x1. Yeah. That was a little iffy, very iffy. Luckily, Shikari knew how to recover quick and sprint.
Fast enough to give themselves enough of a buffer, but even that was kind of
it's very scary. But and then the last one was the 4x4, which was really good. Both teams did good. The 4x4 for men's was a lot closer, a little bit more scary to watch. 4x4 for women's was one of those races where you kind of could breathe. You're like, okay, they got this. But it was just cool to see the dominance. Like Sydney is really crazy. I think something's actually wrong with her. And if she decided to run the 400 flat, like she would dominate. Like they said her split and with the handoff. You had to calculate with the handoff included, which probably slows you down slightly. Her split would have beat the time for the person that won the 400 meter race at the Olympics. Like that's crazy. Mm-hmm. She could be smoking everybody, Even if she decided to do the mixed relay, like if she wanted to run that last leg in the mixed relay, like
sometimes it might be a coaching decision. Like they want to give other people
an opportunity. But I do really think it's like that hurdle thing. Like she really wants that sub 50.
Because if
But I could agree with that too, though, because it might be her decision
because
too.
if she run the 400 hurdle, I mean, obviously, like somebody like Rye, we've seen him do it,
Yeah,
hurdles, and then also just in general running the legs. Like you can obviously do it, but it could be. I don't know how taxing it is on her. Maybe
it
it
probably is
doesn't
really
seem that
taxing.
way though. She runs so like
Yeah,
I don't know how to
and
explain
the
it.
hurdles is more taxing than running flat, but
So maybe I don't know.
we'll
Maybe
see.
she's not confident in her
I
performance
think she
running a
is.
flat after a hurdle.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe she doesn't. Yeah, maybe. And me and my mom was saying this too. It could be the mental thing too, because it's hard doing both. Like a lot of people don't really interchange between both because with hurdles, you're such in the brain of counting your steps.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll have like maybe the 15 or 14, whatever, between each hurdle. Imagine you're not rhythm, and you're running flats in the mix, and it just might mess you up with your like routine and your like your rituals,
Yeah.
like your muscle memory. So yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if she stays as a 400 as her primary event, but it would be nice to see her maybe just do a 400 for the sake of it, just to get another little gold.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that was crazy. And that lead that she got the team
Mm-hmm.
was like, whoa, like she's really sick. Don't know what's wrong with her.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, we also got what else? What else
There's like
was
some
crazy?
throwing stuff in there. I mean, I never really paid attention to the throwers, but they were, they
Yeah,
did good. The long jump,
Ryan Krauser obviously continues to dominate.
yeah, he's crazy. And then even the guy who got silver is from my old hometown, like the region. Forgot his name already, but from the he's from Lehigh Valley, like Nazareth, Easton, PA. The guy who got silver in was it shot put? No, was it shot put? It's shot put, right?
Yeah, he was doing shot put. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, and then the guy for the high jump, unfortunately, he didn't take the gold tie. Him and the other guy both decided not to take the gold tie in high jump. But that could have got us our 41 gold medals over China, but we tied China with 40-40. So just got to take the tie. I mean, we won the tiebreaker. We got more silvers, we got more bronze, we got more overall. So I think we win the tiebreaker. But it would have been nice to have
By
that
a lot,
extra
too.
gold. Yeah, by a lot. But yeah, track was the best part, in my opinion. That's like my favorite sport. So obviously I'm going to be biased, but definitely had the most stories, interesting stories too.
Yes. So let's shout out the U.S. medal winners. There's a lot of them. We have 26 pages of medal winners.
You're going to shout out all 126?
We're gonna shout out all of them. We can get through them all. But yeah,
126.
we of course got a lot of medalists in swimming, gymnastics, track and field, like all of the things that we've been going through.
Those are the main ones, right?
Archery, shooting, cycling, fencing. What else do we got here?
Wrestling.
Sport climbing, which I didn't get to watch any of those events.
Wrestling.
Yeah, wrestling, surfing, canoeing, mountain biking, weightlifting, skateboarding, taekwondo. There's a lot. Cycling, BMX, freestyle, boxing, golf,
Most of them track and field, it seems like, though, right? I wonder.
a lot of
What's the
track and
stats?
field, archery, tennis. There's a lot of there's equestrian. There's so many medals that came in for the U.S. It's ridiculous. But of course, we highlighted a few athletes for what we were able to see. But of course, we want to highlight all of the athletes that competed. Rowing, triathlon, 3-on-3 basketball, our volleyball teams, regular basketball.
That was game was
That's
crazy.
61 wins in a row, I think, that they ended up finishing with,
Yeah.
or 60.
Yeah.
But
60.
they haven't lost a game since 1992, which is insane.
Yeah.
The men's
The
basketball,
men's, yeah.
Steph Curry is insane.
Yeah, watching that in real time, I thought he was literally like, I'm like this is when you just realize these people are just beyond human. Like they're just
Yeah.
sick. Like the fact that Steph Curry got those, it's 4 fours, back to back,
4 threes.
4 threes. My bad.
I was like, I didn't
Four
know they put the
three.
fours, the 4-pointer in there.
He's
But yeah,
crazy.
he's insane. Watching that live is crazy.
Yeah.
Artistic swimming, hitting the moonwalk in the pool. I think I already said rowing. The rugby comeback
That was crazy.
insane. I
And
think
we
there
were
was-
watching that live too, and like casually, like
There
we
was-
wasn't really paying attention. And
There
I
was
was like,
30
wait, what just
seconds.
happened?
There was 30 seconds
Yeah.
left, and they were able to clutch it out.
We watched a lot of this stuff live.
Yeah, as much as we could have.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And I think I called out all the sports that won. Water polo, definitely
did
women's
really
water polo.
good.
They dominated the whole time.
They got bronze, I think, right?
Did they really? Oh yeah, they lost
Yeah, they
to.
lost in shootouts.
Yeah, that's crazy because they were dominating the
Yeah,
whole time.
Flavor Flav was sad about it.
Yeah, but of course, still,
Soccer,
yeah, the
they
soccer.
got gold today. Was that today or yesterday? Yesterday. I
Yeah,
watched all these things live too.
it was insane. So shout out to all of our USA athletes, really all the athletes, because we love the Olympics. We hate the fans, but we love the
We hate
Olympics
the
and the athletes themselves.
divisive fans too.
Yeah, we hate the divisive fans.
You know who
But
they are.
we love the Olympics. Shout out to the athletes. Shout out to everybody from the U.S. that was able to qualify, compete, whether you went to the finals or not. Just having that USA representation and having damn near 600 athletes
Yeah,
represent a World Games is crazy. And then to walk away with as many goals and then also just dominate an overall medal count in general. Couldn't be happier.
yeah.
Looking forward to LA
LA should be
2028.
lit. We're definitely gonna go in
We
person.
will go
We
in
got to figure out
person.
how we're gonna do it and what we're gonna see because it is 2 weeks and we gotta work. But we gotta figure out like what's the best method to go, scheduling wise and money wise.
Yeah, I could. I mean,
We'll see. Hybrid
I'll
work
see if I
is
can finesse
helps.
it. I mean, we have a San Francisco office. Obviously, it's nowhere close to LA, but I might
I
be able.
mean, I think we have luckily have the luxury, tongue twister, of hybrid work. So that might be able to be in our advantage. I
We'll
mean, we don't
see.
know how lenient they're going to be about, oh, you're doing hybrid to go watch the Olympics. Like,
I'm not gonna
we'll
lie.
see.
I mean, the year before 2027, I might just save days and then
That's true. It'll take 2 weeks.
yeah.
For me, it's going to be harder though, because that's unfortunately my peak time, like for second quarter reporting.
Well, I'll
July.
go and you won't go.
Well, you know what? That's not really though, because Olympics is end of July, August. So I think I should be in the clear.
But yeah, we can't wait.
Yeah.
I don't know how long this podcast is gonna be around, but if we're still potting at that point in time, then yeah, we'll do an LA pod. Maybe we'll have to pack up all the equipment
Yeah.
or do like a
Check bags.
do some type of version of it. But yeah, I
Definitely
can't
gotta be there though.
cannot wait for the LA
last time
one.
the Olympics was in the United States, we were negative 1 month old. So 1996, as you can
Yeah.
see by this tattoo, and I wasn't born yet. 'Cause my birthday's in September, so and his is October.
Can't wait to see
that
how
was
ghetto it's
Atlanta.
gonna be.
Yeah,
But
LA. I
they
mean,
need to bring it back to
LA.
Atlanta.
Yeah, no, we need it in New York somehow. I know it's not going to be possible, but I think they'll be able to figure it out. I think they're going to figure it out one of these years.
We need
How to do New
a
York.
Houston or Dallas one because
Yeah.
you know what the thing is, it's like an infrastructure thing. Like
Here,
New
there's just
York,
no space up here.
New York is amazing, but there really isn't that space.
Yeah.
But
mean,
a place like Texas,
It's kind of space though, because if you look at this, when we watch like the Paris games and then you see the overview, these are
it's
all
spread out.
arenas and they're all in the city. So like we got Madison Square Garden, we got Barclays Center, like the way they do the overhead. We got centers, we got stadiums, we got
You got
the one in Queens.
UBS.
Yeah, we got UBS, we got MetLife, we got where they play the tennis, the U.S. Open.
You got you do.
We got a lot of stadiums. We got where the Yankee Stadium, and
do.
like you could do stuff in there. They have
The Armory.
the Armory for track. We have stuff in Jersey.
Swimming would be.
Swimming they could do anywhere. Like you see in LA, they're gonna do swimming at SoFi. Like they do temporary pools. You can make like a little aquatic center. Like they had Jersey and they have New York City to work with. So I think they could do it.
My thing is, I would hate for it to be like the Jersey thing.
Yeah,
know what I
but the
mean?
MetLife, World Cup is gonna be in Jersey, and they're saying it's New York. Well, no, they're saying it's New Jersey, right? They give me SR credit.
But it's the final that's in Jersey.
Yeah, but I was saying, are they saying it's New Jersey or are they saying New York?
They're probably saying New York.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like I don't think that's a big deal. Like Paris, they have stuff in Tahiti. Like there's always gonna be stuff in surrounding areas. I think they could have mostly in New York City. I think they could still do mostly in New York City. Because we have a lot of like arenas that they could finesse and change to different things. Because I feel like we have something else too that I'm missing.
Yeah, they can make it work. Cause I don't
And
like
where do
how
the Rangers play? UBS.
yeah.
Okay.
No. Where do the Rangers play?
You can figure
No,
it's
the
another
Rangers.
thing.
No. The Rangers play in the Rangers play in the Madison Square Garden. The Islanders play in
UBS, yeah.
I think I'm pretty sure.
I mean, we have Prudential Center, so we have centers. We have big places that things could happen in.
It could work.
It could
I
be.
just hate the logistics. I mean, I don't know it's not far. Obviously, we do it. I go to commute to New York more than half my life.
Yeah,
But I like stuff all being kind of more or less like in the same.
but that's not how it is
Spot.
with anything. So like when
I know.
you ever see like when they do the zoom out for Paris, they
Yeah,
be
but
all
but it's still
outside
all
the
in
city.
Paris though.
Yeah, but it'll be mostly in Paris. I mean, in New York. Here, that's the only two outliers would be MetLife and Prudential Center. Everything else would be in New York. UBS, Madison Square, Armory. Yankee Stadium, MetLife, MetLife,
It's a,
uh,
it would be honestly. I
Queens.
wouldn't even want it to come to New York. I wouldn't even care to see that. To be honest,
I do.
New York is such a like. If you know, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's LA. You can say the same about LA. LA is worse, in my opinion. Their homelessness is literally egregious.
I don't know if the LA homelessness is worse than New York.
I think it is.
Can't be. It's impossible.
Let's see. I think it is.
But even I'm saying from like even from a visual standpoint.
Yeah, but people say that about Paris. Like people are like how people anybody who hasn't been to Paris glorify it, but they have rats. It's
I
nasty.
I'm not the one that glamorizes
I'm not
Paris.
saying you did. I'm saying like a lot of people will say that about Paris. They know how to clean up. That's what it's the joke about the homeless people in LA. Like these Olympics are major money makers. They'll know how to clean up New York City. Like it's New York City. Like you can't underestimate that. Like you see how these cities get it together. Like you see what happened in the World Cup with Qatar, people dying. Like these people, when it comes to these major performances to represent their city, they'll do anything.
We'll see when the World Cup happens.
I don't want to think negative. I think they know how to clean up and they know how to get it right. Like for the residents who live here, yeah, it might be crazy with traffic and stuff and getting around logistic wise. But I think for the actual like having it in these places, I don't think is that crazy. Like I don't know. We've had major events coming to New York before, you know. I mean, maybe nothing as big as the Olympics, but I don't think it would be that bad. I think it could do it. We have a lot of stadiums. I didn't even know we had UBS until the Vultures show. I was like, oh shit, there's a whole nother stadium out in Queens. Was that Queens? Right? And they have all those centers. I'm sure they have some type of aquatic center too with the swimming. And I'm sure they have something major already. It's New York. You know what I mean? I think we can do it. I hope it happens in our lifetime. So we'll see. But anyway, I don't know if we keep talking about the Olympics, but right now we have that drama with Jordan Childs and them trying to strip her medal. But it looks like the U.S. Olympic team is appealing the appeal, and they have video evidence allegedly of like that they filed like the inquiry before the 1 minute deadline after like the scoring. So if they have receipts and they have proof, I think she'll be able to keep her medal. I think maybe they'll make a decision to share it, if anything. But I think that's so crazy that they uplifted the approval in the first place or the appeal in the first place when there's video evidence out there. Like, what I'm confused. What evidence did they use to say, okay, yeah, they were late? Like, what evidence did they even use? And there's evidence showing that she was on time. Like, you would think they would have done a thorough investigation. And people were saying this was quick. Like, there's been people who were literally doping, and it took years. Like, you see people are still getting medals from the Olympics that happened 20 years ago. And you're telling me they figured out this decision like in 2 days, 3 days? Like, something's fishy. It's so weird. Like, they don't want to admit it, but, you know, this is when I do believe, like, racism is alive and well when you see stuff like this happen. It's like, what other explanation do you have?
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Who's the country I won? Romania?
Romania.
I'll laugh quietly.
I mean, they usually dominate in the sport,
No,
but things are changing. The times are changing, and they're mad. That's why they're mad.
I got other comments, but I'll keep them to myself because I want to travel to every country. But yeah,
California has more homelessness, by the way.
California or LA?
It's California versus New York, so that's going to be just overall the states.
But you could do city versus city.
It's pretty close. This was 2023. It's like 10,000.
17,000 isn't really close.
But New York is a bigger city, kind of, sort of, right? Not really.
New York City is 3 square miles wide.
I just think it's more spread out. Like California is so in your face, and New York is in your face too, but not as much. I feel like there's definitely areas where it's hidden. I mean, I guess that's California too, LA. But
yeah. But
yeah.
anyway,
Hopefully her medal gets reinstated. We're gonna be on medal watch, but it's unlikely. If you have concrete proof of both the inquiries going in before the minute, like what can they say about that? Like, and all this outrage that's happening right now, like I don't think you one of those problems. To be honest, I know it might not change anything, but like people are even saying that maybe the U.S. should even like threaten to like drop out the 2028 just to try to, you know, if they really want to stand for her. Would they do all this over a bronze? I don't know, but I feel like it would show representation. It show that you care about your athletes. So I hope that she is able to upkeep the medal.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Like this is like people say it should be emotional distress. Cause think about how crazy it is. Like they have the country limit, like where they only can be like 3 athletes, I think. So all the time, like she plays fourth and she couldn't compete in like the all around. She couldn't compete, I think, in something else. Um, until now, you basically lost the medal, then you won it, and you all that excitement, then to take it away again, like she went through a low key a lot, and like that's just insane.
Yeah, this is um, separate conversation from the Olympics itself, but just in general, when it comes to judges and umpires and refs across all sports, there needs to be more legal, uh, level of litigation, repercussions, fines, something
Yeah,
when it comes to the way that umpires and judges are judging these events.
yeah,
And in my opinion, I think that we can't expect perfection from these people. But the way that the laws work and the rules work for some of these organizations, like when it comes to NBA, is that the expectation is for the athletes to be perfect and they're set up to get fines on anything. Like an athlete cannot make a negative comment about a ref
yeah.
without being fined immediately.
Red cards, yellow
But
cards.
no, I'm not even that fined. Like
Yeah, fine, like
you're gonna
money.
come my money, like
Yeah,
$50,000 if you say a ref got a call wrong or something like that. And I think that they don't have that. Not even I think they literally do not have the same rules in place for the refs or the umpires, right? Like they'll
yeah,
have, oh yeah, in the NBA they'll have, oh yeah, we reviewed the call and realized we made a mistake, but
yeah,
that's it. There's no, we're gonna find this ref $15,000. There's no attack on their livelihood, but there's attack on the livelihood of the athletes
yeah. There definitely should be some change. I'm surprised there hasn't been a bigger push for it. Like, if
because
athletes need to come together. Like, if you guys want change, you guys have to come
they
together.
and they do, but it's like one of those things. Like, what are you gonna do? Like at an organizational level,
Protest and not play.
but it's easier said than done, right? So do
Yeah,
you do you want to be homeless? Like
yeah.
it's kind of like the NBA has that power thing over people.
But how? Yeah. But you think how long would they let a protest go? I mean, hey, we saw with the
We've
art
seen it. No,
with
we
the writers,
we've seen
the
it that
writers in LA.
no, the NBA lockouts have happened
Oh
where
yeah,
the
that's
people
true.
are locked out and LeBron and them were playing flag football. LeBron and Kevin Durant were on a flag football team.
That's
Like,
OD.
like I remember these lockouts. Like, it gets crazy with MLB lockouts and everything, and they put chains on the stadium so you can't practice. Like, we've seen it,
It's like
and
slavery.
there's only so much that the athletes are going to hold out on because they have livelihoods to keep up, and
Yeah.
they're only getting older. They want to take advantage of their youth while they can, but yeah,
Yeah. It's messed up though. Definitely needs to be some change because these people, like, this is like people, like, dreams and lives like that they work for, and then you're allowed to just make a mistake and be like, oops, she doesn't get the bronze. Oops. Like, that's crazy.
yeah.
So
Hopefully it all works out. LA 2028. Can't wait for how ghetto it gets. I love it. Can't wait. Moving on. What else we got?
I did not have topics and I just literally forgot them all.
Always relationship stuff. Let's talk
Yeah.
about
But the crash out
the crash outs. The crash outs on the internet.
everywhere. They're not even on the internet. They're just in real life.
They're in real life.
And it's probably been since the beginning of time.
The crash outs,
This phenomenon.
yeah, to give some context and some background. So we've noticed, and just also in general conversations on social media, but also people we know in real life, um, there's people that will do a lot of crashing out. For those of you that don't know, crashing out just means doing something extra to the point where it's to your own detriment based off of a situation or something that happened to you. So somebody stepped on your shoe, so then you kill them, kind of thing. So that's kind of like what a crash out is
Yeah.
by definition. So a lot of the crashing out that we see comes from people that are striving and yearning for relationship because they're getting older, and then the things that they do because they can't find someone, or
Yeah. And they're saying, like, the tweets, this is coming from a tweet where they're saying that this is like when you're in your late 20s, early 30s is when you start really noticing this. And it's like predominantly with women. And as 27-year-olds, 28 in a month and like, 5 days. A month and 5 days, 28. I think we can speak on this because we're literally seeing this phenomenon happen in real time, like with peers. Like, it's actually, and like, even people I'm related to, like, it's like kind of scary, and I guess, and I feel like a little sad because it's like, it's almost like desperation and like this, my life is over because I haven't found nobody. I don't think I'm ever gonna get married. Like, people are giving up on marriage at 27, 28, 26. I'm like, calm down. Like, but I get it because there's this timeline that's been pushed on everybody, like especially women, our whole lives, and then science that you can't ignore the biological clock. Like it's harder to have kids after a certain age and like impossible after a certain age. Like once your eggs are gone, right? Like every month when we bleed, that's the eggs is leaving. You know, one chance less to have a baby. So I get it, but I just think the way that some women go about it and the panic that they get and like the settling that they get and just causing more like drama and like chaos for their lives, it's just scary to me. Like there needs to be some discernment and like just breathe, you know? Everything's not the end of the world. And there also has to be some accountability on your own life and maybe some decision that you made where maybe you could have potentially been locked down in a great marriage with somebody, but that's not, you know, you didn't go down that path to secure that, you know? So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think we're the good people to speak on it since we are of age where this is happening and I'm seeing it with my peers.
Yeah. Let's speak on our peers. Let's get messy.
I don't have any specific examples right now,
I do.
but you do.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of do. I have some like people that like we have known, and like it just not really shocked. Their situation is what it is, based off the type of people that they are.
I think
There's a
with
baby screaming outside of our door.
I think with this situation and also some other things that come up in people's lives, there's that saying where you can't have your cake and eat it too. But in a way to translate that is that you can't have everything. Like that's the obviously what that phrase means.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have everything. You can't always have everything your way. Like people say, it's not Burger King.
And there are outliers, the people who have gotten their way.
Yeah, there are
There
people,
are.
but in general, you should go based off of what the majority of situations and how they end up. And I
Yeah,
think that a lot of people want everything to work exactly how they want it to work when they want it to work, so that the second they make a decision, things happen for them. And I
yeah.
think the problem with that is that life isn't going to work based on the things that you want. So you can't. I'll make it more specific to this topic. You can't go out and have your fun and then have too much fun where now you spent 5 years having so much fun that you spent 5 years of not pursuing the relationship that
Yeah.
you inevitably want.
And building a
Like,
foundation, like things take time to build.
right. So if you want the long storied relationship that ended up to an engagement, into a marriage, into kids, into a lifetime forever, you can't always get that outcome if you aren't taking the steps prior to that.
And you can't always get it as fast because I think a lot of people think, okay, I'm gonna live my life right from age 18 to 26, and like it's always once I'm 26, I'm maybe ready to settle down, and then there's this scramble where you think that you're gonna build the same longevity that people who have been like building earlier in their 20s have already been building. Like they want this perfect timeline in their head, and it doesn't always work that way. Like you can't like and live your life the way you want to live it. Like I'm not saying that, but it's just like you got to accept also that things are not gonna always go as planned, and you have to take accountability that maybe I should have took that relationship when I was 22 that with this guy more serious, but I thought that like I needed my more experience and I needed to live life, and he wasn't what I wanted at the time because he wasn't doing this and he wasn't there, but now he is there. He's now he's a CEO somewhere, right? I mean that's like a most like extreme example, but now I see him, he's doing his thing like, but now he's married and somewhere else with another person like.
Yeah.
It's like people just want, they think that everything's just gonna work as 100% that they wanted to, and then they just the way that they dispose of people, and then now are like scrambling. It's just funny.
Yeah, and I think it depends on what you want. Like at the end of the day, like you have to determine what the final outcome is and then work based on that, right? Like if you want your final outcome to be kids, husband, house, wife, and this again goes both ways, right? For the males as well, men as well. If that's what your outcome is, you want the wife and 3 sons that all make it to NBA, you want that sort of life that people strive for, you should look at the end goal and then work backwards. You shouldn't work on based on what your immediate feelings are and then work towards a future that's uncertain.
Yeah, 'cause everybody wants a Steph and Aisha story or a LeBron and Savannah story, but what do they both have in common? They literally like I think Steph and Aisha knew each other like since like elementary school. Like they've been together literally like for like their whole lives. Like I think they grew up in the same town, right? Went to the same church, something like that, right? Like I don't know the full story. And then Savannah and LeBron, right? Like they didn't wasn't they in high school? Like people want these stories, even if you want to bring up Kobe and Vanessa, right? Like they both were high school age, like 18, fresh 18. Like
And
Everybody wants, oh, LeBron's winning at life. I want that. I want that. I want that. But then at the same time, you guys don't want that because you want to have your fun. You want to have your thought years. You want to hoe out, whatever. Like,
or just date around or just have
yeah,
rosters and stuff like that. And of course, like that's the thing. Like you can't always have it both, right? You can't have a roster, then turn around, find somebody, and then within a year, you're going to get the life that you're striving for. Life just doesn't work that way. Like you can't like have predetermined outcomes or make decisions based on what you think is going to happen because 10 times out of 10, what you think is going to happen is not going to end up happening.
yeah.
Like,
It's happened for some people. Some people
yeah,
definitely have gotten to live out their lives at
the,
25, maybe met the man or woman of their dreams and are happy ever out there.
right. And that might
But
be one out of every 100,000
yeah,
or a
that's
million
not a
people. It's not
guarantee.
a guaranteed thing. So people are crashing out and being dramatic or trying to be like, they'll do certain things that are extreme because they were having their fun and then they're taking extreme measures to try to now secure that family that they were looking for with kids and a husband and a house and everything like that. So in terms of the crashing out specifically, and maybe you can jump in and correct me
As
if
a
I'm
woman,
wrong, but it's a lot of like accepting whoever comes around. I'm gonna just let whoever busted me and get me pregnant, and then I'm gonna get the life that I was striving for because they feel like their biological clocks are ticking. Or this might take longer of an explanation, but
no,
from a male perspective, uh, when I grew up, and even to this day, as a man, I never was told that there's going to be this fairy tale lifestyle, that you're going to have this nuclear family and you're going to go to your 9 to 5 and she's going to go to her 9 to 5 and you're going to pick up the kids from school and you're going to come back home with your dog and your fence. And like, I was never taught this, like, and that's a reality for a good
woman.
number of people, not majority for sure, but that could be some people's reality. But I was never taught to fantasize over those things or that life is going to be a fairy tale and
Yeah.
princesses and castles and everything's going to be amazing. So for me,
And sorry, not to interrupt, but I was saying, cause you kind of grew up already in that what some people consider the fairy tale. So maybe
yeah,
that helps because you've seen it.
right.
Like you lived in the 2 parent household in the suburbs with the dog and the nice big backyard. Like you lived it, so you maybe didn't have to be embedded as much, but it could have helped.
It could have helped, but also to the sense where like I grew up in that lifestyle, but was never taught that.
The same way like your sister might have been.
Yeah, like I never, because even within that, as everybody knows with the relationship, like there's a lot of stuff that comes with it. So I could have had from an outside perspective that was, living the dream, like because you don't know the intricacies of within the household, and obviously I don't speak on people's personal stuff, but like relationships are relationships. They're not as easy as they seem. Even if you, from an outside perspective, you see the fence and the big house and the nuclear family and all that kind of stuff. I still, even with that, having grown up with that, was never taught that that's what the reality of relationships were. And I think a lot of women, when it comes to social media and movies and entertainment and reality TV shows and all the different things that women find to be entertaining from when they're 2 years old, they're watching
Literally.
princess movies and the Prince Charming is going to slip the glass slipper on your foot and then you're going to ride off into the sunset. At least from a male perspective, when I grew up, that was never taught to me as that was something to look forward to. Relationships were never something that were taught to like look towards. Like it's something that was going to happen, but it wasn't like this fantasy around it. And I think a lot of women get a lot of fantasy around things, right? Like we've seen how crazy people are with like Love is Blind and Love Island and
Love Island, the biggest
Cinderella stories
yeah.
and social media. Like get you a man that does this. If he doesn't buy you a Birkin, he don't love you. Like all this certain things. So women have this fantastical view over relationships and how it should look. And then when they're not getting that and they're getting older and older, then they start wilding out on social media or just like letting anybody hit so that they can get a baby. And
Yeah, I
then
think you literally see people spiral. Like
yeah,
you
you
see
see people
women go through
spiral.
psychosis. I'm not even like to make taboo like so mental health taboo. I think it's literally psychosis for some of them. Like the one that's fighting with Simone Biles,
Yeah.
like Kiara, that girl. Like, and I'm glad everybody's been calling her out. To like, well, and she even said, "Yeah, I'm ugly." Like she even called herself ugly. Like, okay, at least you acknowledge it. I'm not trying to call people ugly, but I'm saying like she just not like she's just she reflects the energy she puts out. That's what I like to say.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So women are doing a lot
crashing
of
out.
like doing a lot, talking like really crazy about men or relationships, and they hate men and they only love women, or just like a lot of different things. But
Now
don't
they're
want,
gonna marry their friends and live with their friends.
yeah,
We
but
don't
don't
need
want,
a man no more.
but they don't want to put the work in with someone. And this kind of ties into a concept that we've talked about before, where yes, you're young, but you don't have an unlimited amount of time. Yes, so people can fall in love even when they're 70 years old. They could find somebody and fall in love. Yes, we acknowledge that, but that's not what people want. So let's go based off of what people want. You can't like, if you want those things, you do have to put some level of work in, and that requires time. Like, you do have to build with somebody. It can't be you're both gonna pull up and you both have your individual castles and then you merge them together.
Yeah.
That's some people's
That's some
reality, of
reality.
course, but we can't look at some people's reality as being the majority, right? Like that can't be the thing. We always look to the celebrities, and this person has 1 million followers and this person has this life, and I'm looking towards this person. Like, what's her name? The cooks everything from scratch.
Nara.
I don't know her personal life, but I know people strive towards having that type of life.
Yeah.
But you don't know what the work it required to be able to have that type of life, and that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like, that's not something where these two individual people pulled up and then they, like, you do to a certain extent have your two individual characteristics and attributes and bring them together to be one. But it's not like she's who she is. She's not who she is today prior to that relationship. I'll put it that way. Like, you're gonna have to build these things together, and that requires some level of work. So to a large extent, you can't go out and do whatever you want and then turn around whenever you feel like, today I feel like being married and having 6 kids,
Yeah.
and then turn around and be able to flip that. Like, it doesn't work that way. Like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna be able to find
It's crazy.
the men that you're looking for if you have that type of mentality. So you got to decide: do you want to have your fun?
And you can still have your fun, but at the same time, like,
Expect what comes from it. That's
and
it.
the thing is too, you could have your fun while actively looking for somebody. I feel like people completely just evade the idea of even picking a suitor, if you want to speak professional terms, while in the midst of having their fun. They're just viewing
Okay.
everybody as a body. They're viewing somebody as like like I'm conquering them. They're not viewing any of these people as like, okay, like you could have your fun, date around. Like having fun too doesn't mean like sleeping with every single person that you meet too, right? Like you could literally say, okay, like these are prospective people that like I'm like, okay, you get to know them as time going. You're like, okay, they're cool. They're cool to talk to. Like I can see myself dating them. And if you want to, have sex with them, do whatever, right? But then like let it be still with the end goal of maybe one of these people I could find my like future husband and build with. Like I just feel like, I mean, and everybody can live their lives. Like this is just our opinion based off of having. Obviously, we're in a successful relationship. Like we're just giving people our opinion. If you want the LeBron and Savannah story, if you want the Curry and sex, if you want those things, like those relationships started from their teens, early 20s. Like that's just
Yeah.
there's nothing you could literally negotiate about that. Like there's nothing you could argue with it. Like that's literally what it is.
That's why all I'm saying is that
Yeah, if this is what you want, like
if this
listen
is
to
what
the
you
people
want,
who are living it. That's all we're saying.
right? If this is what you want and that's what you're striving for, that there is
Yeah.
certain things that you will have to do to be able to get that.
Yeah.
If you want something else, then
Yeah.
that's just what it is.
Go to those people's podcasts. They'll tell you all about that life.
Like, if you want to, because like you said, not everything is sex, but I think most people attribute their rosters and things like that to people that they could be. It kind of is true, who they could get money from, or people look at
Yeah.
the fun part of it with like some level of benefit that they're gonna get from it without committing to that
Yeah.
person.
Even if the benefit is merely just validation,
Yeah.
whether it's like you feeling yourself or like you're getting validated by all these multiple people.
Yeah, like
It's always some transaction that's happening.
you basically, you're not gonna be able to get it all, right? You're not gonna be able to go out, be a whore if you want to, or get the validation that you're seeking, and then also at the same time, at the drop of a dime, be able to turn around and say, all right, now I'm ready for something else, because it takes time to build. So like, if you turn around at 27 and say that you want to now find a partner, that doesn't mean that just because you decided that today, that now at 27 you're still going to also be able to find
And
somebody.
the thing is, too, the reality is a lot of those people, like by the time you get to this age, they already found their person. People are already settling down. People are already got their rings and are proposing or have their weddings ready and have on their first kid.
Yeah, I just saw
Like
somebody.
you kind of late.
I just saw somebody. I'm like, I didn't even. I was like, he probably married at this point. I'm like, let me go check. And I was like, oh yeah, well,
Yeah.
here's the wedding
Literally,
photos.
all the people that I went to high school with, college with, that been in long-term relationships are all either engaged, married, have their kids,
Kids.
got their houses. Like that's literally every single couple. Like the people that we went to school with, right? Like think about all the couples we went to school with. Our
Yeah,
closest friends, obviously, like my line
that
sisters, like people that that are acquaintances from school, all literally engaged, married, have kids, like houses, like.
yeah, because
And we're 27, 28, 26, and 28. Yeah.
it requires building. I think
Yeah. And
like
all those people are built from college and high school and middle school. Like
I
all of them.
I think our situation is different because we were so young that it required it. We were like it required more work
Yeah.
than
Yeah, not easy. I'm not gonna say it's easy. I'm
if you.
sure everybody who has relationships that started from our age has probably similar stories.
Yeah, it required more work than if you met somebody later on. But it's like you just can't have the expectation that what you want is gonna go your way. That's really the thing I'm trying to drive home here. Like
Yeah.
it's not gonna be at the second you decide you want a relationship that you're gonna get one and it's gonna be the perfect person and
Yeah.
every all your interests
And then
align
things
and
are
you
gonna
love
be
this person. It's
And then
not
things
gonna
are gonna
work
be
that
built
way.
up already because like I do find enjoyment in building with somebody. Like
That's why I think it's like the dating with a purpose thing because I think a lot of people's idea of fun. I know you were trying to combat me on this point earlier, but when people are saying have their fun, like more often than not, that's kind of what they mean. Like people want their validation and they feel validated by like through physical acts. They want people that like that want them. That's like a lot of what people consider to be, oh, they were having their fun in college. Like there's not I like necessarily specific to I'm just talking to a bunch of different people at once. So it's kind of like people are doing those things without a purpose because it's kind of wasteful in a sense if that's what you're looking for in the end goal is like a relationship and family and stuff like that.
yeah.
So if you're doing that and you're having fun, you can also, like you were saying before, you can vet these people and see if there's something that you want to pursue as a
Yeah.
relationship in the future.
Don't just do
But
it
it's just
just
kind
to
of like
do it.
emptiness,
Yeah.
empty dating or being a thought like
Yeah. Like you're doing it literally just for that purpose, like in that moment. But
right.
what has it really now like your early 20s, what have you gained from that experience?
And
Like
again,
truly.
to keep
I want people to
reiterating
let me know.
to keep reiterating it because I know the point will get lost. That's if the end goal is
Yeah.
something else. Like,
Could people live that life and they truly live their life and they love that life.
and we love that for
And
them.
like I'm happy for them. Like I love people who love their lives and like
Yeah.
are living the life that they want to live. This is for the people who did that shit knowingly that thinking that they were saying something or doing something and are now just depressed in a spiral and are questioning and then now they're questioning the universe or why God, no, why you did this. Don't blame no other higher power. You did this. Like
Yeah.
these were your decisions and now you're just literally seeing the consequences of your actions. Like that's
Yeah.
life. Everything is cause and effect. Like I
We
follow literally simple blueprints in life, and I'm not surprised the outcome. Like I'm not surprised at all how my life is today because I put the energy into all the things I felt I wanted my future to look like. Whether it was my education, whether it was my career, whether it was my relationship, whether it was my body, whether it was my physical appearance, everything I wanted for myself, I put the work in. It's not that hard.
yeah. So put the work in for the things you want. And
Yeah.
stop crashing out and getting pregnant by anybody because
Yeah, because
you
now you're
want
just
the
causing,
relationship.
and
You're
then all you
causing
do,
worse
yeah,
damage.
you're causing generational trauma. Like how many people that we know are products of damaged, broken homes because two people got together that shouldn't have gotten together.
And they continue to create damage in broken homes
Exactly.
with people having babies with people. And I know marriage is just some social
Yeah.
construct, and I
Not
get all
everything.
that. I agree with it too.
Yeah.
But
And we're not making this our identity, being in a relationship. Like it's just a part of who we are. It's not my identity.
But yes, being contractually married and having legal obligations and monetary obligations to someone and signing contracts, that does mean something. We can't.
And having a whole child.
Yeah, we can't say that doesn't mean nothing. But yeah, if
Yeah.
you're out of marriage and you had a kid with somebody, like that will make being married forces obligation.
And marriage is security. Like people always act like marriage doesn't mean nothing, but marriage is literally security. Like you're securing you literally like your livelihood. That like especially if you're gonna have babies with somebody, like you're securing your livelihood if something were to go wrong.
Right.
Like, and it just keeps the relation. It gives the relationship more of a reason for it
You
to
know,
not end.
you know what's funny? Randomly enough, earlier today while I was thinking about it, and if I remember, I'll do it. But like switching my disability, basically switching all the things if I die to your name. I was thinking about doing that earlier, but I don't feel like logging into my
I'm not gonna do all
all my
that till it's
stuff.
officially
I'm
married,
just
but
doing it
it's just
now.
gonna be annoying having to do all that stuff. It's gonna be like
I might as
mad,
well just do
mad
it now.
work.
But the reason for that is because we have this legally tied to us.
Yeah,
So if I died, I would rather you just get it, so you can continue to afford to
don't
stay
talk
here.
about dying.
But but yeah, that's like, but it's true. That's like
Yeah, it's
it's
true.
like a part of it, right? If you're
Yeah,
not married, then there's no
there's nothing
entitlement, even if
like
you have a
that. People be like,
kid.
"That's my man. My man." Is it? Like, is it?
Yeah,
Because where's the security if something happens to that man, or if that man wants to just get up and leave? It's nothing that you could do. Like,
yeah.
so I hate people like like they downplay it. Like, is a commitment of all commitments. Like,
Th-
and I get it. It's not for everybody. But there's people that it is for, and then they act like it's not.
this is leading me to a subtopic.
We actually have another subtopic too based
We
off
have a
that.
lot of subtopics. But
Is
I
it the
want to
same
treat this.
subtopic?
It probably is not, but I
No.
want to leave. I want to keep this as like a. It's kind of what we were talking about, but it's an additional level to it. So like we understand that for the most, like, of course there's things that are out of your control that you're just a product of, and there's nothing you can do about it, right? Like
Yeah.
we're all born into this world, lucky or unlucky, your genetic makeup, what parents you were born to in their situation. There's people that are born wealthy, there's people that are born poor, there are people that don't even get the opportunity to be born. There's a lot of different things that go into that process, and it's all luck,
Yeah.
roll of the dice. But one thing that is critical for people to understand is that for the most part, there is a significant amount of your life that you do control.
Yeah.
And people never want to view themselves as the antagonist to their own story. But more often than not, at least in our experiences from what we've seen, and we were just talking about people basically self-destructing
Yeah.
and impacting how they have relationships with people, like on like a physical, emotional connection level. People don't want to be the antagonist to their own story, so because of that, they'll do so many things that are detrimental to their progression and being able to get the things that they want, that they don't even they're just blinded by the fact that they're them, that they'll never look at themselves as being the problem and being the reason that they're in the situation that they're in. And to expound it on like a relationship level, people will never look at themselves as being the problem. They'll always look at someone else as being the problem, or an entire gender being the problem, or
Yeah.
something along those lines, but they'll never understand truly how important it is, and for them to understand the decisions that they make and how that's the reason why they're in the situations they're in. I don't know if you want to jump in here, but I can keep going.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like, yeah. A lot of people don't like to admit that. I think a lot of people like ego is such an interesting thing, like from a scientific standpoint. Because I'm very like science based. Like I always want to know like, but why? Like I want to know the reasoning, and I just really wonder where ego came from. Like especially if the whole like theory about evolution and us evolving from like monkeys or whatever, like whatever like the theories are. Where did the concept of ego come from? Because I wonder if any other animals have ego. Like you know what I mean? Like I mean, animals seem like they get embarrassed, right?
Yeah, they do.
So it's such an interesting phenomenon to me, ego, because I feel like that's really the root of everybody's demise, and then just to not even admit it, like you could have ego, but then I feel like at least admit it. I feel like that's definitely my ego has gotten the best of me in many situations, but do I sit and admit it? Yes, like I'll be like, okay, yeah, like am I feeling a way about this situation, and am I acting a certain way because I feel away, because I feel embarrassed, I feel hurt, I feel bruised, whatever. Yeah, like I'll admit it. I won't be like I won't just deny it. People literally will deny it. Like that's what I don't understand. Like at least admit it. At least be like, yeah, I'm messed up, I'm damaged, and that's why I act this way towards other people. Instead is oh everyone else is the problem. And like I just feel like that's just like not cool. Like just be the coolest thing you could do is to be real. That's my literally my favorite motto like that I came up with. Like the realest thing you could do is be real. And people just can't ever be real with themselves about like the reason why it's always an excuse. It's
Yeah.
always somebody else's fault. It's never I didn't do this, so that's why I'm not successful. I didn't work hard in school. I partied all the time and didn't take it seriously. I skipped classes. I thought I had more time and I didn't. I was messing with men and distracting myself from schoolwork. Like, no, it's, oh, that man held you back. No, you held yourself back. Because a man can never hold you back unless you want to be held back. Like, there's never no personal accountability ever. And I feel like it's so lame.
Yeah, I would
Like,
say that
anybody who does it.
I was never able to get to the point where I was at, where until I was able to shake the ego and not being able to admit that I'm wrong about things. Like, I could sit confidently in front of this camera, in front of God knows how many people will actually end up viewing this video. I'll sit in front of the world and tell everybody that most of my problems that I've encountered in life have been my own fault. And most people wouldn't ever be able to admit that. Like, no, I was extremely immature. I made a lot of bad decisions. I was a bad person. I did things that were to my own detriment. There were a lot of things that were to other people's detriment. Not a good person. And a lot of that had to do with ego and not being able to admit that I'm wrong, or not being able to make the correct decisions, even though I knew the decisions were wrong in the first place. I would be the first person to tell you that. Like, I can think back to probably all of the things that I've gone through, and probably confidently I could say at least 90% of them were my fault. And being able to understand that and address that and change the things about myself that caused those situations to happen. If I wasn't able to do that, I would never be even sitting in front of this camera with you today.
Yeah.
And it takes a real human to be able to admit these things, realize these things. And once that happened, you're able to think and focus and understand what it is that you need to do to be successful in this life, and not be your own enemy and hold yourself back from accomplishing the things that you want to accomplish. And nobody can seem to admit that they're wrong about things, or that
Yeah.
there might be something that they did wrong that they could have done better. People don't want to apologize. Like,
That's
apologizing
what,
is the craziest thing in the world
no,
to
literally,
people.
like, my biggest thing I
And
always, like,
sorry is not an apology.
yeah. And my biggest thing I always hold on to, like, as a big example of this is literally like, we're all humans. We all have conflict with friends. I've had conflict, obviously, with people. And, like, in most of my conversations, especially like the most major ones, there was never really accountability 100%. It was always an excuse. It was always, oh, this, oh, that. Like, it was never just, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Like, it's just, yeah, I was wrong here. I was wrong here. Like, I've done that. Like, I've said this on the podcast before, and I've said this to you. Like I've had situations. I was like, yeah, I talked shit on Twitter. Yep, I did. I don't think that was right, and it was wrong. Yes, it was wrong. Like, you think that was okay? Like, no, I don't. Like, I'll be first to admit where I went wrong when those friendships fell apart. And like, a part of me always wanted to have these closure conversations with different individuals in my life, was just to get that realness. And like, the fact that I feel like I never got any 100% realness from any person I've confronted is crazy, and just says a lot more about them than me. And that's why those closure conversations is further confirmed for me why they're not in my life. Because I'm like, you guys, even in a potentially the last time you'll ever speak to me ever in your life, you still can't even just be real and be like, you know what, I was wrong. Because nobody's right, and like, no one's 100% right in any situation. Like, any like relationship falling apart, any friendship falling apart, I feel like there's always something that somebody did on one side, at least one thing. In some places there isn't, right? But there's always at least something, some place that you went wrong, where you could at least apologize and admit it. And I feel like I didn't get that from anybody who did me wrong, or just wasn't supportive, wasn't a good friend in some areas. And just be real. And I just truly, like, maybe they're better people now. I don't know. I haven't talked to these people in so many years, but it doesn't matter. They still at all these points, they were still adults, still legal adults, still over the age of 20, 19, whatever. Like, it's just, it's just crazy to me that people, that they can't be that. And like, I'm trying to give grace, because we're talking about ourselves and the maturity. At that age, we probably weren't the most mature either. So, you know what I mean? So I don't want to be a hypocrite.
I wasn't. I wasn't, but it also wasn't as bad as most people.
My recent conversation, we were all 21, 22.
Yeah.
One was pushing 23. So like, no, at that point, no excuse. You lame.
But yeah, because like, to tie back into the relationship conversation we were having earlier, like, people don't want to admit where they're wrong, so they don't want to admit where they're wrong in any aspects of their life. They don't want to admit why why don't you have the job that you want, right? Like, why don't you have the relationship that you want? Why don't you have the things that you want? What is the true reason for it?
The government's fault.
It's Joe Biden's fault.
Trump.
Men are
Bush,
trash.
Bush,
The economy.
yeah.
What else do people blame?
And yeah, the economy definitely has an impact, but that's not like really the fault of a lot of people's problems.
Yeah, that's the thing. People, yes, all of these things do impact people's lives on a daily basis, but rarely are they the true reason why these things happen. Because remember, there's a world of people where all those things happen still. There is Biden, there is the economy,
The pandemic.
there are all these things that exist, but some people aren't impacted by that, and a lot of that has to do with the decisions that they make, their relationships. It doesn't matter what the economy is doing. The economy could be trash. There were people that made it out 2008 financial crisis without feeling anything.
Yeah.
Like, so these things do happen, and yes, there are other outside factors that will impact your life, but people always want to look first to the outside factors versus looking internally.
Yeah, like when we talk about these things, like this is clear, we're not talking about extreme examples, but like that are for sure, like pure reasons. We're just talking about the everyday average person that we know are slackers, that we know just are need excuses. They're lazy. They don't hold themselves accountable. So there's like we know a lot of these people in real life. Like we've seen in real time,
right, and
how they operate.
And a lot of that, like our experiences with people that we went to school with.
It's the easiest example.
Let's get super messy. So we went to school with. Everybody wants to have the college experience of going partying, wilding out, catching 612 bodies, drinking every day, and skipping class and all that kind of thing. Like that, aside from maybe the major cities like New York, Chicago, like places with skyscrapers. That's like probably even with those two. Like New York college experience is a little different.
It's a little different, but it's still a college experience.
The overall college experience, like that's what people kind of more or less expect or have understood from TV.
It should be a part of it.
Yeah,
work hard, play hard. You can do both
to a certain extent, but you can't do certain things in those moments and then complain about the outcomes later on. So if you were going to do those things, and you also weren't studying and focusing on the things that you need to focus on to actually graduate and get the degree, then that's your fault.
Like, how many times did we like on Snapchat? Oh, I'm skipping class. I'm skipping class. Skipping class. I'm skipping class. How many times though you was gonna skip class, but I wasn't gonna catch up to you to now to reflect the life that you live today?
Right. And
like I've skipped class. And I've skipped class. But when do you get to that point where you're at school? Like, okay, this is your life. Get up, go to class. Like we've all skipped class. I don't think any person on this planet. Well, there's probably some nerds that haven't. I don't think any person on this planet had never not skipped class at least once in their life in college. Slept, or even if you overslept, even if it was an accident. Mm-hmm. But how many people have we seen? It was like a joke to them. Just smoking all the time, drinking all the time, not going to class, sleeping in people's dorms, and coming back from your classes, and this person's in your dorm, and they're just been there all day wasting away. I'm like, why are you in my dorm for 2 weeks straight? Did you go to class? And you know what I'm talking about. Nigga, get out, go to class.
What letter does the name start with? A, B, C, D?
Ding, 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 ding.
And I think that there's...
Ding, 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 ding.
There's
that's how frustrating that situation was. He was there. Like, nigga, get the out my dorm. I pay money for this place. And why are you not in class?
Yeah, so if you're not gonna go to class, like,
and look at how life is set. Like I unfollowed that person a long time ago when all the beef went down. I think they still follow us because they like to post of our engagement. Hey, there's no beef. It's been so long, but it's just hey, it's just that's his reality. Like his life is probably not spectacular.
You're not gonna show up to class. That's your fault. It doesn't matter what outside factors. Yes, there's penis and vagina running around the campus, but if you don't go to class, that's your own fault. Not anybody else's. You can't be distracted unless you want to be distracted. Anything could be going on. There could be a war going on. If you want to get your focus on something, you're going to be able to focus on something. And you're not going to graduate on time, so now you're going to pay even more money and stay in school even longer and pay more money and put yourself in further debt because you didn't want to focus, because you wanted to party. And now that's where it starts to get. Now you don't have a degree. You're taking more time out of your time from working. Mm-hmm. So now you're losing money because you could have been working full time, but now you're still in school. And then not only that, you're running yourself into further debt. And that's how like the domino effect works. So it's like people are their own self detriment and they don't understand.
Shouldn't it be taking you 7 years to get a bachelor's degree?
It took somebody 7 years to get a bachelor's degree. What letter does it start with?
This is gonna take a minute. No.
Q.
I'm just saying, like, how you have a whole associate's degree and it still takes you 7 years to get a bachelor's. That's insane. It's embarrassing.
QRS.
I'm just saying. And these are the people I know personally who just were in the real time. I saw how they were treating school and treating education and treating all these things. Like, I was sitting here like,
Yeah, so
you're
it's
not care this is your life. Now you gotta pay that money back. You realize you gotta pay this money back one day, right? You realize that?
self detriment. That's your own fault. Relationships. If you want to be letting homeboy run through you on campus, and then you invite your boyfriend up the next day on the weekend, maybe your relationships aren't going to really work out because of you taking certain actions like that, right? Like you're cheating on your boyfriend, getting ran through on campus, and then you're also inviting him up to the campus, and everybody's looking at you crazy. Like, yeah, maybe your relationship isn't going to flourish because you're making decisions that it's your fault, right?
Wait, why did my brain just connect?
Like
Anyway, that's crazy.
it's your fault.
I just realized what you were talking about. We're messy. Anyway,
Yeah, so maybe your relationship won't work out, and that's probably why you're single now, because like during the building and foundational years you weren't
yeah.
fostering a relationship with somebody that might have been good.
Yeah, because that's something we didn't get to dig in deeper with that first topic. I feel like so many people who are in their late 20s, like with this crash out thing, like there's definitely that one that got away that I feel like everybody probably has. Like, damn, maybe I shouldn't have broke up with him for
Because
no
it
reason.
usually isn't worth it.
Yeah, like, oh, damn, like we had something good. I just broke up with him because I was young and wanted to have my fun. Like, and now I'm like, fuck, I didn't gain nothing from it except bodies, STDs, traumas,
STDs, not STIs.
whatever. Trauma.
Both?
It's like, then you
College does
sit.
get crazy.
No, but it's like I feel like that's the thing. Like I'm sure so many people reflect on their fun years and they really like fun years and like really don't regret it and like, okay, I had some good times. But there's definitely a lot of people who's like, when you have nothing to show for it, like they might have had their good times, but are now in a happy marriage, happy family, whatever.
Yeah.
But now it's like when you're sitting in your late 20s and you have nothing to show for it, and that's when I think it hits. We're like, damn. I did all that, got ran through, got degraded. People don't take me seriously. They probably still talk about me to this day.
Like we are.
Yeah. And now I'm sitting here and I got nothing to show for it. Like they're all in their happy marriages and happy families and they found their person to settle down. And I continue to run down that path. And now I'm sitting here twiddling my thumbs and like, what's your greatest accomplishment in your romantic connections? It's none. Just getting ran through.
Right. And we're all for people getting ran through. But again,
if that's what you want.
If that's what you want.
If that's
we do not judge and I don't care.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not. This is not a judgment. This is literally judging a specific group of people.
Yeah.
Who
we don't like people
who are literally just a detriment to themselves. That's all we're just saying.
Right.
Like
we don't like people that do one thing and then like say one thing and then do another. That's who we're calling out. If you want to be ran through, we love people that are ran through.
Yeah.
They're great people. We love everybody that loves us basically.
Because I feel we've met people who live that life and genuinely enjoy it, and I support them,
and we love them.
Yeah, like that's the people. I like people who are like themselves. And I like people who are real themselves. I like real people. That's all.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care if you're poor. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what it is that you do. I love people that love me, and I will support everybody in what it is they do as long as it's not hurting somebody else.
Yeah.
But I will shit on people that have shit on me at some point, and I'll continue to shit on you until I die.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I saw a TikTok about that. It's like about beef being infinite.
No, beef is infinite. Because the thing is, I only continue to get better.
Yeah. So
and I only continue to like, so it just becomes more and more funny over the years. But I don't have any hostility. That's the funny part. It's like weird.
It's not like a daily thought about these people where I'm like losing sleep. It's just funny. Like when we talk about these things. So when we have these podcasts, obviously we're talking
especially when those people at one point said something.
Yeah, that's the thing. These people have said something.
Yeah, I don't unprovoked just shit on people.
Yeah, literally everybody that we said something about on this podcast, and just in the last few minutes, have all said something shady, negative about our relationship, about our careers.
Probably should have got hands, feet.
Probably should have
got shoulders, knees, and toes put all over them.
Yeah, they're lucky that we were chill. That we were chill people for real.
But you can't run through the campus and then turn around and get the relationship and foster it the way that you feel like it should be fostered. Like you're gonna make your life harder by not holding yourself accountable for the things that you do, as opposed to just thinking back, reflecting, trying to become a better person, and then move through life accordingly that way. You're gonna make yourself work so much harder because you can end up with the end goal that you're looking for at the end of the day, but you're gonna take so much longer to get there.
My mom's favorite, like her biggest quote that she always pushed on me, like me and my sisters, was like take like the path of most and least resistance. Like she always used to like get mad at us and sometimes say you guys are taking the path of most resistance. Like you're doing the things that are making you're making your life more complicated for no reason. Like work harder in school so you don't have to have loans, or so you don't have to get rejected from colleges, save money so you can have money prepared for the future. Like, she always just tried to dig into our heads, like, don't take the path of most resistance. And I feel like a lot of people do that. And they continue just to make that path worse. Like,
Yeah.
that shit is like a zigzag maze
Yeah. If you
for
want,
no reason.
yeah, for literally for no reason. Like, just it's simple.
Yeah.
If you're younger, you get a little bit of a pass, even though you still don't get a pass. But it's very simple, and it's just like you see so many different times where people will do a lot of dumb shit, and then you'll see some emotional post about something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like
And as always, they blame the higher power, like I said.
I'll probably remember what I was gonna say, but I'll tell you off camera because I don't. I think what I was about to say was way too specific, and I think they would probably see it. Um, but yeah, like just do the things that like get out of your own way, and you'll be able to get where you're trying to go way faster.
Yeah.
Like nothing was better than like deleting a lot of my social media accounts because that was like a hindrance in my own mind. I know that there's people that can navigate it, but I can't personally navigate it. So remove yourself away from the things that are going to
Yeah.
hinder your progression. And it's just been up really just do better and hold yourself accountable. And it sucks. Like it hurts to be able to say, I messed this up. I could have had this. I could have done better. Like everybody should have those stories because nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
And it sucks. But the quicker you acknowledge that, the better you'll be able to proceed in the future with
Yeah.
anything.
Because there's other people who made probably dumb
Horrible,
decisions in their
worse
life
decisions
and
than
are
me.
able to turn it around. So that's what this is not even saying that you can't turn it around. We're just
Yeah,
saying it's like now that people are approaching late 20s, late 30s, it's not necessarily too late, but you made your life so complicated and so hard at this point for no reason. That like literally every day, in my opinion, is always now or never. And I feel like so many people are so set in their ways that is more likely than not they're not going to change because like, your life is usually what it is already at a certain point. Like you've kind of made like people always want to talk about like, oh, it's just your 20s, it's just your 20s, relax, you're only 20, relax. Like that's the worst freaking advice ever because your 20s are literally such like the prime years of everything, your relationship, your body. Like this is like our last chances before like it's gonna get harder to really build our foundations for our bodies for them to stay fit, in the future, especially when kids come in the picture. It's going to be harder to do things and job, work gets more busy, you climb the ranks, and you have more responsibilities. These are your prime years for everything, like your body, your mind, your education, because it's going to get harder to do that. It's going to get harder to study for like, me, I'm trying to get my CPA exam, and I acknowledge that. Like I know I have to stop being lazy. It's like, it's going to get harder to do these things. And like, I just feel like I hate that mentality. Like you're only in your 20s, like relax. Like, no, you should not relax. Like you shouldn't stress yourself out. You can still enjoy life. Like I've thoroughly enjoyed my 20s so far, like thoroughly enjoyed,
it's been
and I've
amazing.
still accomplished every major goal, literally except the CPA. Like I've accomplished, I got my master's degree. I'm engaged. I live in a nice apartment. I've always wanted a nice walk-in closet and I got that. Been to 10 countries with you, 11 on the way, 12 on the way. Could be going to Monaco too. Like it's just, like it's just a lot, you know what I mean? And like we still went out there into a party next door concert on Friday. Went to the club that night. You went to a wedding last night. We could have went out again last night when you came home. Like we go out, we party, we still have this fun. So we are relaxed, but we also are working really hard and living the life that we have worked for.
And the thing is, I don't even know. I work. I what's. It's always weird for me to say I work hard because I don't want to say I don't work hard, but I think that because I put myself in certain positions, I don't have to work as hard as somebody that took the path of most resistance.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm getting the fruits of my labor, but my labor was a lot less intensive than
Yeah,
somebody else's would have been.
yeah, because
Like,
our labor, we just like dug it out those 5 years
right.
between the ages of 18 to 22. Like we just put that
We
work in.
we graduated 6 years ago.
Has it been 6?
It's been six
Is it
years.
7? No,
No,
6.
six. I graduated 6 years ago. I'm on my fourth job.
Is it 4?
It's fourth. Yeah.
Well, second
I was in
company,
sales. Yeah, second
but
company,
fourth
fourth job.
position.
Yeah, fourth position that I've been in. And I am making 4 times what I made 6 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my exact. I'm making this. Is what I'm making now. Well,
I,
what's total comp? What's my bonus? I'm
yeah.
gonna give you the exact number of how much I've made since
Mine
2018.
is I quadrupled my income in the past 6 years from when I graduated school. And
13%. Damn, 13% bonus.
I just every step I've taken has just been better, right? Like study, get a certification, like learn something, read, do something, work hard, work effectively, like study, like do these different things. And that's why I'm able to do this year after year after year after year. I just got a raise last Thursday. I'm gonna get another raise for 2025. It'll be presented to me in February, but I'm gonna get another raise on top of that in a couple months. So it's just like you just got to continue to do the things and get out of your own way and like strip your ego and admit that you're wrong in some avenues and say what you can do better and be critical of yourself when it's in all aspects of your life. You're not
Yeah.
perfect. You're not the person that needs to fix the person in your relationship all the time. Like you're not the I do all this work and everybody else is trash at work. Like that's not how it works.
Yeah.
You're not the main
Not everybody at
character.
work is it's their fault. Like they're out to get you, and that's why you're
Right.
not getting promotions, or and that's why you're having issues. Like
You're not even like, yeah, you're the protagonist in your own story, but you can also be the antagonist at the same time in your own story. And you just have to think above yourself. You're
yeah,
important to you, but you're not the most important thing
ever. Yeah.
ever. And you're not even also the most important thing even in your own life. Like
Yeah.
you're a protagonist, like not the protagonist. Like there's other people that will be involved in your life that have influences. So like you should think of yourself, you should think more of yourself. That's the other thing. Like people don't even care about themselves.
They don't.
Like you should
Their actions don't
understand.
reflect how they
Like
feel
people
about
don't work
themselves.
out. Like
Yeah.
people don't do a lot of things. People don't care about themselves really.
Yeah.
And
Because if you really did, your action would reflect it. Like
you, they
I
would.
always say that.
That's really what
Yeah.
to highlight this whole segment into like
Yeah.
one sentence is really just that.
Yeah. And this is I'm gonna give my little quick testimony. Cause you were there from day one, obviously, right? Like think about like my testimony real quick. Like we was in school 4 years. Like we worked really hard. I worked really hard. Like we've been there for the cries, the tireless nights, everything, right? Like, and unfortunately, at the very freaking end, I messed up. Like I could admit that, and I know like it's something that hurts me like all the time. Like I hate thinking about it. I hate talking about it. But like I literally couldn't walk out my graduation because of one class. Like I failed two classes my last fall semester. Like I became an AK that semester. There was a lot going on. I went on a trip. I probably shouldn't have gone in the beginning of the semester during prime, the prime time, right? Like that was a bad idea. As much as I loved going to Paris and Germany and that experience, I would cherish it forever. It did cause me to fall behind in the class, and like I just unfortunately failed the class. And spring semester, I was able to stack my workload, and I probably still could have been able to figure it out. I probably could have talked to an advisor or something for them to try to squeeze in one more class and make an exception for me, and just have the craziest workload ever. But unfortunately, one class caused me not to graduate, right? Like, and you were there for that. We literally came to school together. Like, we met freshman year, and like I really wanted that moment for us, like to graduate together, like have our coming out picture. Like it sucks that that's something that we won't ever have when it should have happened, and it was one class, right? Like that. Literally, you know how much it bothers me. I hate talking about it. So that summer, like I literally got the freaking class done in 2 weeks after graduation because there was a summer class that let me take it, and it was a short course. Like I had the class done by June 9th, which is crazy because graduation was like May 25th. Like that's so crazy they wouldn't let me walk, and I was done by June 9th. Like that shit is so fucking aggravating. But I know like I didn't get internships. Like my mom tried to get me to get internships. Like, and I think I worked hard, but I don't think I worked hard enough. Like, I can admit that. So I didn't get internships in accounting. I had the failure, like the late graduation, technically late. It was still 4 years. Um, and then I got into grad school. Fortunately, that still worked out for me. And like that grad school year, literally, I locked in. I was like, all right, get this master's. And then I got the master's. I got the job at Prudential, like my first major career in accounting. And ever since then, it's been up. And like I took that year and realized what I had to do. Like I took that accountability. And I locked in. I used my first job that I got with no real accounting experience. I had a little random accounts receivable job, barely made any money. But what did I do with that money? I saved up. I got my credit score up. I got 130 points in that one summer. Like I could post screenshots as proof that did happen because I paid off a credit card. And my score went up 130 points for some reason. Got my car with all that money from that thing, like brand new car. I paid. I had my last payment a month from today. I had my last payment, 6-year car note, and I just locked in. And now that job I got when I graduated in 2018, 6 years ago. Since then, I've made like from that salary I made then to the salary I have today, $87,930. I make more than I made 6 years ago. That's OD. Like when I just did this math, I was shocked because I didn't realize it was that much. It was so gradual. $87,930 without saying what I make. That's how much more I make.
Yeah, I think mine was the same. Mine's like 90,000, I think.
That's
So right
insane.
around the same.
And what it took was literally that reality check of not being able to walk in graduation. And I was like, what are you doing? You have this accounting degree. You're in grad school. Let's just get it done. It sucks you couldn't walk in graduation. It's not the end of the world. And luckily, I had my graduation a year later. I got to be 22. Luckily, it was 2019. Could you imagine if it was somehow 2020? If I had a 2-year grad school, I would have been devastated. Like, I'm thankful I had my graduation in 2019. I got to have my college graduation experience. And yeah, I'm here today because ever since then I locked in. I could admit that I didn't try hard enough in college at all. Could have went way harder. Could have went way harder in high school. You see the Olympics on. I'm still saying that's something I regret. Is I could have went way harder in track. I should have did it earlier. I'm not saying I would have been an Olympian, but maybe I could have not had student loan debt. Like, it's like, like I know somebody who I went to high school with who has no student loan debt. Like, he went to school full ride, and we was in that same school, same opportunity, and he worked harder. He wanted it, and like I didn't. And just like, it's those type of things. Like, I'm not sitting here thinking I would have been an Olympian, but I could admit, damn, maybe we would have worked harder. You could at least maybe had less student loan debt, and you could have went to school for maybe a discounted price or a partial scholarship. You know what I mean? So, you just got to make that admit these things to yourself. And it takes a real person to do that. And I feel like people they need that reality check. Like, or your life is just going to continue to be what it is. And you're going to blame the government. It's going to be Biden's fault. If Kamala gets elected, it's going to be her fault. It's going to be Trump's fault if he's reelected. It's going to be everybody's fault. Until you're 80, wilting away with nothing to show for your life. And it's still going to be somebody's fault at that point. You're going to tell your grandkids it's somebody else's fault why their life sucks because you didn't do nothing for them. It's always going to be somebody's fault. Even people who blame their parents. Like, my parents weren't perfect people. But what am I going to do? I'm going to grow from the experience that they, not everybody had a perfect childhood, right? Like, people have stuff. I feel like so many people hold on to stuff their parents did instead of just evolving. Like, it's time to move on. What they did sucks, but you're going to continue to keep living in that. Like, in your traumas and your childhood traumas, like, are you going to continue living in that, or are you going to make your life better? Or are you going to just keep blaming your parents? Mm-hmm. Like, it's just, people just need to wake up. Yeah. So, that's a pretty lengthy conversation. It kind of flowed naturally. It's funny too. I think we had another subtopic, but I don't want to get too deep into it. I think we've been talking for a minute, right? But could we still talk about the marriage?
What was the subtopic?
How Clarence hasn't proposed to Queen yet. That's been all over the internet lately because they just celebrated their 6-year anniversary, I think, or 7.
Let's get into it.
And he's in his 30s, I think. She's not yet because she's our age. But you know what? I will say I partially do think they're trolling us a little bit. They know what they're doing. They're making money from this. You think she's making sad faces on the camera about getting flowers and expecting more? Like, maybe you know what? I'm not gonna say everything is for the media. Maybe she is showing her true self, and she is like hurt. I'm not gonna say it, but they did something recently where he gave her earrings, and it was a box, and then she opened it, and she was like, and then she was sad. Like, you don't think they kind of conjured up that a little bit? I don't know. Like, some stuff is definitely a little. They're leaning into this, and there's definitely maybe some big proposal coming, or he is messing with her, and she is hurt, and he's never gonna take her serious.
Yeah, my opinion on this is that anybody that's an entertainer, I view anything that they do as entertainment.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people can't separate. I know these people are entertainers, but they have their own personal lives.
Yeah.
But for me, I look to entertainers for entertainment, and I actually really don't give a fuck about what they do in their personal lives. So anything I see from them, I'm gonna view as entertainment.
Yeah, I don't take anything I see that seriously from any celebrity, any person that literally needs entertainment to make their living. Like, these people need literally to eat.
Right. And so,
like, people need to realize that.
Because of that, entertainment relevance, that's all important. I'm not going to jump out the window and say that certain things are entertainment versus real life, because who am I? I don't know these people. So it's weird for me to even kind of pass judgment on certain things, but I'll tackle it from both perspectives. I think from an entertainment perspective, yeah, that's possible, because this is the thing. Like, look at our situation, right? I always try to relate things to us as much as we can, right? We imagine I proposed and we never said anything about it, and then our wedding is set for 2 years from now, and then we just pop out and we get
at
married.
The wedding.
Or let's say that we feel like that's our own personal business, and maybe she's already engaged and they just didn't tell anybody else. Just in the same way people are pregnant and then they just pop out and
LMA just had the baby. I didn't even know until the nigga showed up at the Olympics.
Right.
The baby was literally at the Olympics. I was like, when did she have a baby?
Right. So it could also be that level too.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's from the entertainment perspective. You can leverage it to try to make money, or you can be an entertainer and you don't want anybody in your business, and that's just what it is, right? Like, you see DDG strategy, and
he wants everybody in his business.
Everybody in the business, but cover the baby's
it.
face because they're making money. So that's their level of entertainment.
Yeah.
So Queen and Clarence, theirs could be
Let's keep trolling them about
Keep
this
trolling them.
whole
We could
yeah.
already be married legally
And she's a
through.
singer, so she's gonna make music about it. Like she she was in the shade room singing the Destiny Child song, like a cover. So now she's getting attention. Maybe she's dropping an album. She's a singer, so now
Right.
she might drop some relatable music, and people are like, "Queen, we love you, we support you."
And people don't care about YouTube shit really anymore
Yeah.
either. So it's just kind of, it could be from that as well. Now, it could also be a personal thing. Like, yeah, maybe that is the situation. She wants to get married and that's not happening.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. To tackle that part, though, I will say, in my own experience, is that throughout our relationship, we've been together, we've known each other for 9 years.
Almost
We've
10.
known each other
This
for
month
10
will be
years. We've
10.
known each other for 10
Yeah,
years, but
because
we've
we've
been
known of
dating
each
for,
other for 10 years.
but
Oh,
dating
that's
for
crazy.
9 years.
Oh my God.
And from my perspective, it's not like I was harassed about it, but yeah, like as the man, you're responsible more often than not. Even though women can't propose, we don't gotta get into that, but you're looked at as the person that the whole engagement and marriage process is predicated on, and it's based on you getting the engagement ring, and you start this whole thing and this process. And when
Yeah.
you've been dating for so long, it's always that question: oh, when you gonna get married? When you gonna get engaged? When you gonna do that? Right? Like we were in Antigua when I proposed. We had the waitress asking like, "Oh, when
Yeah.
y'all getting
Which
married?"
is
Like
ironic.
all that kind of stuff. Like she asked that the day before or
Yeah. And you
something.
probably was like,
I was so sick. I was like, she didn't do anything wrong, and this is a joke.
yeah.
But I wanted to drop kick her so
Right.
bad. It's like,
That's so ironic though. It's
but
like,
um, but yeah. So it's like, yeah. Granted, we could have gotten engaged earlier. We could have been married already now,
which would
because
have
people will
been,
look at us being together for, 9 years till this point,
yeah.
and be like, well, why didn't you do
What's
it
the word?
earlier? You
What's
were
the word?
25, but where's the ring? Where's the ring? Where's the ring? Where's the ring? Where's the
Well,
ring?
you'll see why when we see that wedding in 2026. Why we waited.
Um,
You'll see why. And when we go to Bora Bora, you'll see why.
did we tell people that already?
Oh. Well, we're going to Bora Bora for our honeymoon.
Let's skip that. So there's a plan for everything. So that's the other part, right? Because yeah, people ask me the same thing, like, what's taking so long? Like, are you gonna propose? Like, where's the ring? When y'all get married? All those kind of same things. At the same way that people are asking them, and we're not rich or wealthy, but we have money.
Yeah. It could have happened. Like, I get people's argument. Like, but I feel like let people live their lives. It's the same thing with someone borrow things. Like, why do you care so much? Like, where's your ring? With your
Yeah,
wedding, with your husband? Like, you're putting timelines on me and you ain't even got a prospect.
because that's the thing, right? By the time we get married versus like when my grandmother got married, and I granted times were significantly different.
Yeah.
There would be damn near a 10-year difference
No,
in our
literally,
ages.
and I understand that people have that traditional thing, like it's annoying, and I don't think some people have ill intention. I think some people do because they're trying to be funny. But like some people, they genuinely just want to know,
Yeah, no,
and they
people.
probably do like say, okay, you don't need to wait that long to commit to somebody. But I'm like, everybody has their own version of commitment. Like we literally shared a freaking lease together. It's 2021. Like a financial commitment is a big commitment. Like that was our form of commitment and security.
Right.
Everybody
And
has their own versions of that.
for me, there's a plan for everything. So like,
Yeah.
I can't have that mentality of like, I have my whole, I have at least right now some level of an idea of what I'm doing up until 2028 in different months. So I do like to know what I kind of have going on when it comes to maybe getting another job, certifications, this podcast, or whatever it is, house ownership, or just different aspects of my life. I like to know in general what I'm striving for
And we've
by a
been on the
certain
mark
time.
with pretty much everything that we've been striving for. We've
Right,
been on
like
the mark.
even when it
On
came
the
to
money.
like having my hair braided down and like having box braids or something like that. Like when I started on my hair
In
growth journey
2022,
in
yeah.
2022 in November, I was like 2 years.
I remember
Then
I was like, damn, 2 years? And like, look, now we're at literally at the 2 year
right.
mark, which is crazy.
So I look into the future for a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So I can't have that mentality and then not give someone else the grace of them potentially having that mentality, whether they have money or not, because money is money. And I know people don't want to hear that, but it's no matter how much money. First of all, we don't know how much money anybody has. I'm not in anybody's bank account. You can assume what people make based off of, oh, YouTube is paying them this and
Yeah.
her music is paying them
And
that. I don't know what
estimated
people
net
have.
worths that are not true. Remember, you always rant about this, how people take net worths to the grave. They think that's like the
Yeah.
real, they think that's like, they take it to heart. Like they think that's what it means something when that's just an estimate.
Yeah, and that's based off of what the internet's able to
Yeah,
find.
publicly
Like
available information.
nobody has access. Just because you're a celebrity and you have a million followers doesn't mean people have automatically access to your bank account
Yeah,
and they can
you
read
can't
this is
see
how
the
much
ins and
money.
outs. Like what?
Right, like it gets crazy. You know, like if I bought something right the same way if I bought something right now on Amazon, you wouldn't know how my net worth decreased
Your net worth technically changes like
every se-
every time you make a transaction.
yeah.
Your net worth changes.
To people,
Like,
I don't know how much money they have, but regardless, money is
mm-hmm,
money. And people don't want to hear that. I don't care if you have $100 million. Money is money,
mm-hmm.
and if anything, money becomes more of a factor the more you have it.
Yeah,
People will make more detrimental financial decisions if they have less money than if they actually had money. Like that is a major fact. That's why people that have money continue to have money because they're more careful because there's more at stake.
mm-hmm.
But people that have less money will just go out and do whatever the fuck.
Spend their last.
So let's assume they do have money. That doesn't mean anything. You're still tying your finances with someone else and maybe, who knows, maybe her financial situation isn't great. Maybe his financial situation
And that's
is
the
great.
thing people don't realize. I think she wants marriage, but who knows? Maybe she's the one that's more apprehensive. I think, what we assume the breadwinner in the relationship. What if she's the one that's kind of like making sure like this is the right decision? Like we don't know
Right.
that. Everybody makes the assumption that it's him.
Yeah. People, because men are the ones that are looked at to propose. So that's the other thing. Who knows if there's any financial situations or someone has to take care of a family member. Like there's a lot of different aspects to lives that people will always seem to push when it's them that's going through it, but they'll never seem to understand it when there's somebody of prominence that is going through it. People go through deaths in the family. They got to take care of family members. They have legal things that they go through. Like life exists even if you have 1 million followers, 2 million
Yeah,
followers. It doesn't matter what subscribers you have. Life
parasocial
happens. Like
pedestal
it
type of
does. Stuff
yeah.
gets pushed back. I don't want to speak on. I won't say what this person is to me, but their situation was that they were supposed to have a wedding overseas, but then some family issues happened and it delayed their wedding. And so I mean, I just was given that information, but maybe to an outside perspective, it's like, well, when's
Yeah,
the
where's
wedding?
the
Like, what's
wedding?
taking so long?
Oh, he messed me some issues. Oh, maybe she found out he's cheating.
Yeah, the whole time
Like,
there was some family issues going
yeah,
on. Not them, but extended family. Somebody sick, somebody whatever, somebody died, somebody needs financial help, and maybe it pushed things back. There's so many other factors to life that people only seem to understand when it's them going through it, right? Like people will have in their bio RIP, whatever the fuck, and then
that's
when
crazy.
they go into comments and a rapper got shot, then they're trolling and making jokes.
Yeah,
It's like people don't really like,
I don't know how they can't put this like
people can't connect the dots.
they separated for some weird reason.
So, and I know I'm ranting here, but basically, it could be a lot of different things,
Yeah,
and I think people should just not care in general about anybody's relationship. But there's a
yeah,
lot of different factors, and I think that the way that I'm breaking this down is kind of like a personification of how people should look at life. Like
yeah.
when
Everything's not black
situations
and white.
happen, there's so many other different aspects
Yeah,
of things and even minor details that could happen that could be impacting why this certain
yeah.
situation is
People
what
look
it
at
is.
life literally too black and white. They like people like I've said this even with the whole concept of like the Kamala thing. Like you see, like I mean, we haven't read our comments at all, but like there was one that we did see by accident where somebody was trying to say like that we must be getting paid from the same people that's paying what's her name,
Candace Owens.
Candace Owens, to like I guess be in support of a Trump campaign. I'm like, how dumb can you be that you don't have the intellectual capacity to realize that somebody could criticize a party because they want the best for themselves? Like just because we're criticizing Kamala does not have any indication on who we're voting for. Like two things can be true, and I just don't think a lot of people have intellectual capacity to realize how nuanced life is and how there's so many variables in life and there's so many different things. So you could be bashing Kamala to the grave, and I could still go in November and vote for her. Like two things could be true. Like I just think people don't think, and it's actually really scary. And to connect that to what you're saying is like I don't think people have the depth or the capacity to understand how nuanced life is with people, and they see everything so black and white. So if they see, oh, he's not doing this, it has to be because of this. There's no like thinking deeper and thinking, okay, maybe there's other stuff happening. Like maybe there's other things I don't know anything for sure. Maybe this is what I could speculate. But life is it has so many variables that
And
there's nothing that's so black and white in this life.
and also, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, who cares? It's not your life. It's not your man.
That's
It's not your marriage. It's not your relationship. It's not your vagina. It's like
that's the one thing I have to like kind of get an explanation on,
yeah,
because there's a lot of people that like are so invested in these things, and I actually truly can't understand why. Because my thing is, when I formulate an opinion, I literally every single time, for me to formulate my opinion, I have to understand one side and I have to understand the other side, and then I'll take both perspectives and then I'll come to a decision. Maybe I think one side, yeah, maybe they are 100% right, or maybe it's 50-50 or 20-80 or whatever. Like I like to understand both sides before I make an argument, because how can you make an argument for something if you don't understand both perspectives?
Yeah.
But one thing I cannot get my mind around is why people are so invested in like entertainers' lives and reality TV and all these different things. I literally, for the life of me, cannot understand it. I like reality
And
TV.
so invested. Like, it's one thing to watch these things and enjoy it and have commentary. Like, commentary is fine, but the investment, like the
Yeah,
next level, like investment, like veins popping out your head, you're so you're passionate defending a person that doesn't even know you. Like, that's when it's scary. Like, making whole social media pages dedicated to a person, but they're your profile picture, they're their name. You're making edits, and I get when it's young kids, because a lot of times things get a little conflated because there's kids on the internet, and I gotta remember that. Like, what was I doing when I was that age? I was doing weird shit like that too.
Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So like, but then there's definitely people our age who are literally sitting on TikTok making think pieces like, "Where's your husband? Oh, you don't have one because this is what you're doing in your life. You're invested in reality TV stars and making hate content about men. Like, you're centering your life around men, even though you hate them. Ironic. So it's just like, I don't know, but those type of people really scare me. Like, they really scare me. But there's grown women too. That's what people, and it's like the
It's mostly grown
younger
women.
Gen Z be calling them out too. To be like, aren't you old? Like, your old ass needs to. It's like, why you care? Are
Yeah.
you not embarrassed? They be asking like, and I love when the younger kids call them out. Like, are you not
Continue,
embarrassed?
continue the ageism. I
Yeah,
think ageism is
I support.
great in a lot of different aspects. If it's somebody doing something that somebody their age should not be doing, then yes, let's continue to call it out. Let's not call people old just for the sake of calling people old.
Yeah,
But there is certain behavior that people of a certain age should not be doing
yeah,
on the internet, and I think the younger kids should continue to call that out.
yeah,
But never for the life of me could I understand people's investment in giving a fucking what somebody else's relationship is.
yeah,
And on the one hand, is if you're not in a relationship and you're commenting on somebody else's relationship,
yeah.
then you don't have a say in anything. And if you're in a relationship and you're commenting on someone else's relationship, then
What
you
does your
need to be
relationship look
focused
like?
on your own
Yeah. What does
relationship.
your relationship look
So it's kind
like?
of like,
Yeah.
in a nutshell, like,
Like, when we're speaking on these things, we're just giving our commentary. We're giving our opinion based off current events. We're not invested. We're not like slandering anybody. We're not going in. We're not like making this our livelihood.
yeah, because that's
We're just
what,
giving commentary on the, and not even on their situation in particular, just on the subject of like long-term engagements, and we're just giving a whole kind of like general consensus instead of just being so invested in this particular couple and their situation.
yeah.
And act like we know them, because we don't know them. That's why I'm giving grace in all aspects. We don't know this situation at all. And like you said, to your point, like, that's actually a really good point. They could have been married this whole time, and now it'll be funny to just pop out one day, and be like, we've been married since like 2020. We've just been keeping it quiet.
But even if they're not, then who cares?
Yeah, you do not. Who cares? It's not my relationship. At the end of the day, like, it's not my life.
And I'm gonna judge you 1,000 times more depending on what your current life situation is.
Yeah.
Because like, there's so many things I want to say, but I can't say it on camera.
Why?
I'm gonna have to,
Too
because
specific.
if I say it, it's too specific. Not that this person would ever come across it, but I'll remember it and I'll tell you.
You could say this in a not so obvious way.
So I saw. How do I say it? There's somebody that has some level of particular investment in reality TV and was speaking about Love Island, and that person is in a pretty decent amount of credit card debt, and they max their cards out, and they got noticed that their limit was going to be increased, and they were happy about that.
I don't know who you're talking about.
You're never, no, it's not, it's to me personal, somebody
Okay.
I know personally that you wouldn't know. But I don't know if you should be worried about the 20-year-olds spitting in each other's
Yeah.
mouths if you're happy about
Get bigger fish to fry.
about the credit increase.
Yeah.
And hopefully they never see it, because they would 100% know who I'm talking about. because I was like the only person there.
Then maybe you could bleep it out.
But yeah, so you should focus on that, right? Because then I don't want to hear anything you have to say. If like, don't throw a stone and hide your hand.
Yeah.
If I shit on somebody, it's because I'll shit on somebody and you can't shit on me back.
Yeah. Because that's just the biggest thing with this cleanse and queen situation. Like, everybody in the comments, and that's why I love when people are like, where's your ring? Where's your husband? And then they like to deflect, like, oh, that's besides the point. That's besides the point. It's like, not really. Because you sound like the expert. But where is it? I will never wait more than 2 years. Okay, then come back and reply to me when you got that ring. It's always what you wouldn't do, what you would do. Like we just talked about earlier about the sense of control people feel like they have with their lives, and like they just know things are going to happen a certain way. Because I'm just not going to do that. You don't know until you're in a situation, and you don't know why people do certain things. Like this economy is in shambles. Marriage is not everybody's goal to do it by a certain age, by a certain time. Like people have their, and don't people realize too, people have their intimate moments with their partners where they're having these conversations. It's like the same thing with all the miserable women that were mad at that man that proposed to that woman who won the gold medal. You do not like. Where's the brain capacity, like I keep saying, where you could maybe comprehend that it's always about what would I do? What would I do? Like, first of all, you're never going to win a gold medal in your life. So it's not about what you would do. You'll never be in that situation ever. And the pen that ring that the man got was like mad expensive. That will never be you. So it's not about like, why you talking about what you would do? Yeah, it won't be you. It won't. But second of all, where's the intellectual capacity? Like I keep saying, to think, okay, maybe they had a conversation. Maybe this is what she wanted, because this is not me. It's me. Everybody's favorite word is narcissism, and they literally display it every day. They love the word narcissism, and they display literally the symptoms of narcissism every freaking day. Because it's me. This is what I wouldn't want that. Why is it? It's always me, right? But what about what she wanted? The woman who's actually in there, who this is probably the best day of her life, ever. Like we know somebody personally, my own line sister, who wanted to be proposed to or on her graduation day or around her graduation day. That's all she talked about like during school. Like, yeah, I want to be proposed to in graduation. And what happened? She was proposed to in graduation. I'm sure somebody put the bug in his ears, or maybe even she told her himself. Like maybe it was a planned proposal. I don't know. So many people would have been mad. Oh, why would he propose to her on her graduation day? That's her day. But little known to them, that's what she wanted. That's all she talked about. That was her dream, and she had it. So how do we know that's not what she talked about?
And look at them now.
Like, what if she was like, "Oh my God, that would be so great if I would love for you to propose me on a big day. Like, oh my God, if I get this." What if he was like, if you get that goal, I'm proposing right there. Like, what if he said that? We don't know what the conversation was. But a bitter woman who is single, who never probably gonna be married ever in their lives, based off the stats, are just mad.
Didn't some woman propose to her man during the Olympics?
Yeah, but I don't know if that was actually real or not. Like it might have been real though, and they were mad about that too.
Yeah, even if it was, like,
yeah, who
Who
cares?
gives a fuck?
Like it's always about what I would do. You guys are not
cares?
these people. You'll never be these people. You'll never be in these situations. Like get that through your little thick skulls. That's why you're home upset. Like I don't understand the lack of like, it's like delusional. It's like literally the lack of like reality for the people. And it's narcissistic. Like their favorite word, and they display it every day. I would never. And these tweets is getting hundreds of thousands of likes. I'm like, are there this many deranged people out there? Like, what is going on? I would never have that happen to me if I was getting a gold. But you're not. And 130,000 people agree with you?
You're not even
athletic. You're all crazy.
Yeah, y'all not even athletic.
Yeah. You look in profile pictures. Never. People got 6 back rolls. Like, and you talking about what?
6?
I'm just saying. It's not going to be you unless maybe in sumo wrestling. Like, weightlifting. The heck?
6 back rolls.
Yeah.
Like 6 of those?
Yeah. Damn. Talking about.
Like that.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. Talking about some. I would never have them. Not the girl who made the tweet, but the people in the likes. I mean, you can't see likes anymore, but people in the comments retweeting. A lot of big backs.
Damn, 6?
A lot of big backs, and they're talking about what they wouldn't do. Get a man first. These hoes are in la la land. La la land.
Get a man and a gym membership.
And they will be there until they're going to be one of those 40, 50, 60, 70-year-old women that are still thinking with this mentality. And it's just, that's your problem, people. I'm just glad that's not my life. I'm glad. Every day I'm grateful. The incident makes me grateful to be me every day. So I got to say, it makes me grateful.
And now a word from our sponsor.
What's our sponsor?
For $10 a month, you can go to Crunch Fitness
Crunch. No,
and get the body that you
I
deserve.
recommend LA.
For $47 a month.
47. We paid 47. It's 28.
42?
I thought it was 28.
No, I'm getting like ripped. I'm getting like $42.
Oh, I'm thinking of retro.
For 40 something
I
dollars a
don't pay
month, you can
attention to
go to
this.
LA Fitness
Ooh, I gotta.
and unbig that back today.
No.
Yeah.
LA? Yeah. Oh, you go to Planet. Isn't Planet Fitness like cheap?
Planet Fitness, you can go. Honestly,
You can go outside to a sidewalk and work out for free.
Yeah.
No excuses. Anyway, anything else? I'm hungry.
I'm not. I ate a lot before this.
All right.
Hey, I think we covered all the topics, right? I
Yep.
mean, we was gonna talk about the Carisha JT breakup. I don't really care about that. I think I have enough rants on this podcast about friendships. I don't need to talk about friendship breakups because then I'm gonna start projecting. Nope. See how I was real enough to admit that though.
On that note, we're gonna get all the way out of here because I have to edit this podcast. But yeah, this has been the A Couple of Things podcast where we talked about a couple of
We
things,
talked about quadruple things.
things, Fordham things. And as always, we will see y'all
Next week. I'm so bad at the closing. Get that away from me. Get that away from me. Get that away from me.
next week.